All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We are live for the Sunday edition of the BETSTAMP pod. We're going to do our best to be soccer journalists for this one, I guess. We do have the World Cup on in the background going live here. Argentina versus Spain. It is still 0-0. And like I said, we're going to do our best not being soccer fans. And we also have the Telemundo broadcast on in the background. So make no mistake, when we have a question, it's going to be, I guess, more difficult for us to get the answer. It is what it is. We're gonna have to. I was thinking like they need a way for us to translate the Telemundo broadcast, and I was like, oh wait a second, we could just watch the English one. That's probably a possibility there. But I guess the Peacock streaming services. Hey yo, that is what they have us access to at this point. So and obviously I think it is better for the emotion of the game. At the end of the day, again, we may not always, know word for word what the announcer is saying, but I do think that just, the ebbs and flows of the emotion of the announcer for some of the Telemundo broadcasts, they do tend to maybe portray that stuff a little bit better at times. And I don't know if we're just used to the rhythm of some of, the American announcers. It is what it is. And there is just a different style as well, too. Maybe soccer specifically, I don't know. But again, you think like Mike Breen calling soccer. I mean, Mike Breen is one of the best in the business for sure, and I'm sure that the way that he is able to kind of portray the weight of it a moment with his announcing, it's definitely iconic. Again, he's been the NBA guy here, the voice of the 21st century for the NBA. But in terms of, again, that's sort of traditional, what we expect in a soccer announcer, would be a little different. I do think that this is where Gus Johnson maybe would thrive, would be the soccer. And I'm assuming there's no way he's not, like, he has had to have called a soccer game in the past. But I feel like that just needs to be the pivot. It's on Fox right now. Is Gus Johnson? Gus Johnson has to be calling the World Cup on Fox right now. Hey, again, that just shows you that we've been just watching the Telemundo broadcast. It is what it is. But maybe Gus Johnson needs to learn Spanish and then get on the Telemundo broadcast. That is really his lost calling. Is Gus Johnson should be he should be that's not what we're saying. But we're just saying that the emotion that Gus Johnson, this is the better way to phrase it. The emotion that Gus Johnson, there we go. Gus Johnson brings to the game is, typically that, like an NFL game is typically that of like a soccer game. And I think the way that he is able to, hit those adrenaline spikes, I think would definitely be really crazy. Though it might be too much. I don't know if Gus Johnson would survive like a Messi goal at the end of a World Cup, especially some of these games here where Messi's been, in the extra time, getting the wins there. I feel like for us personally, seeing some of these games, getting back from work, throwing the TV on, I don't know, just Argentina's kind of in that right time zone for some of the last games there where it was kind of like the tail end of the games where when we were getting off work. And then, so I feel like I've watched, though, still as much of Argentina as anybody and seen them score as much as anybody, but it's all been after 90 minutes. So it's like all overtime. But I've seen them just play as much as anybody because, again, just the drama that they keep getting themselves into. So I don't even know. This is going to be a little like Spurs-Knicks, I guess, in the way that we just have to wait till the fourth quarter. It's like, okay, we know how this is going to go. We hate to relive it. But, San Antonio's going to get up. It looks like they're going to win the game. Brunson and Towns are going to start clawing their way back. Anunoby, hey, yo. And make no mistake, did we watch the ESPYs? No, I did. It seems like our fan votes. What we should have done is we should have botted the ESPYs. We should have gotten some AI bots to put in some fake votes for some other teams. I don't know if the fan votes would have won necessarily, but apparently people really like this New York team because I think it won just about every award. It is what it is. But again, I didn't tune in. Once I saw they won about one, I was like, oh, they don't. The voters clearly don't know what they're doing. I can't believe they didn't, award all these other great sports performances that happened. Oh, Nick's overrated, blah blah blah. But I guess apparently not to the voting community. Oh, do we have a yellow card? Do we have a man down, chat? Hey, yo, we did, I think, have a yellow card maybe minute 8, minute 9, kind of the first one there. But I think we've got our first, what do you say, the first flop? Oh, pause, I don't know. The closed caption is right over the ankle there, chat. Lucky guy. And the thing is, you do have cleats and stuff as well, too. Like, it is, I guess, hot take. What are we going to say, that they're never actually not hurt? But it is what it is. Speaking of, again, soccer, soccer stereotypes, I guess, we're just going to lead into them early. It is what it is. He's looking at it. He's like, no, my ankle is hurt. It is hurt. I'm telling you. But I think it looks like he's probably just going to get back up and keep playing. But I guess, again, the point was, I guess, shout out to Gus Johnson. Hey, yo. Will Ferrell, chat? Is that the first celebrity that we get for the... chat, what is this? Will Ferrell and Pharrell. Back to back. Great. I don't know if that's intentional by the cameraman, but is that a great work there? Hey, yo. I mean, obviously not quite the same name, but close enough. A little, I guess, celebrity name. Is there like a celebrity name connection situation that we have to go? Who would even be next? Will Ferrell, Pharrell, and then wait, it's Pharrell Williams, right? So Will Ferrell and then Pharrell Williams? Hey, yo. So I don't even know who would be next in the line of celebrity there. I don't know. I guess IT, let us know. DMS at Rem and Sam Pod, let us know. I guess I'm assuming that there would be, quite a few people here. I don't know exactly what stadium they're in, though, for this one as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're in America if Pharrell is there. Maybe if Will Ferrell is there, it means they're in the U.S., but Pharrell, I mean, I feel like is Pharrell even spend, more time in America now than outside? I feel like, he's probably, the man's just in, I mean, he might just live in Paris or Italy or something. No joke, honestly, at this point, with the fashion industry, with the sort of other, business ventures that he's been pursuing there, some of the designer stuff. I mean, do we have to look up Pharrell, Will Ferrell, Pharrell, who's this guy? Pharrell's latest fashion show? Let's see what we got here real quick. Pharrell, latest, runway, I guess is what we really want to look, because, I don't know, how Pharrell does it, chat. Hey, yo. But it does seem like he is always able to continue to impress. Is this the Ocean one? The Louis Vuitton, I guess, 2027, or is it one of those things where it's always a year ahead? But they had it, like, under a wave. Hey, yeah, let's see if we can pull this up here and see what we've got going on. Ocean runway? Yeah, chat, this is real. Hey, yo. A crashing wave rolls into Paris for Louis Vuitton show. I mean, Pharrell, once again... Just the design stuff is always, top notch. Hey, yo. Hopefully there's another Clips album at some point. Hopefully this is not just, all the great ideas going into the fashion as well, too. But, obviously the designer aesthetic was part of the Clips rollout as well, too. Definitely gave it a pretty unique vibe that set it apart. But this was one where we were like, okay, Pharrell's in his bag for this one. It is what it is. But I even forget what the last backdrop was for it as well, too, but I feel like it was something pretty crazy, and it wasn't, maybe it was kind of like a nature theme situation, I don't know. But hey, yo, shout out Pharrell. So we'll see how he's able to take, is he gonna take some of the World Cup inspirations? What inspirations can Pharrell take from the World Cup and, use those into fashion, I guess, is the question at this point. And it is, I guess does he still do, like, shoes and stuff like that as well, too? Or has he moved past that? Are designing t-shirts beneath Pharrell at this point? Does he just do runways? I'm not sure, but shout out. I guess World Cup is there as well, too. And not to pocket watch, but speaking of finals games, I guess maybe that just shows you how impressive the finals games were as well, too, because I saw an article that said that the World Cup tickets were going about 10K, and I think the MSG finals tickets were about 13K at some point or something like that. I guess that's just the number I have in my mind. I don't even know if that was the base minimum at some point, but there was, like, maybe, 25K. I don't even know what the actual number was at some point, but just for the cheapest tickets. I mean, it was, the first game back, game 3, 4. I mean, I guess they only played 2 games in MSG, but the first couple back there were obviously pretty crazy. So I guess you do have like a, exclusivity thing with the basketball arena versus a, soccer football stadium situation, but still the World Cup compared to the finals, that is pretty, pretty impressive there, I guess. So, I don't know what that means for the NBA and their ratings and for all that stuff, but obviously, there is a value there as well, too. But I think the Super Bowl, they probably do okay with their ticket prices. So I don't know if anybody is, sitting around jealous for what's going on here. But, oh, chat, we've got another one. We've got another injury. Oh, here we go. Oh, is it revenge? I think it was the guy that got hurt last time is now injured somebody. So we've got maybe like a a knee to the calf, knee to the shin situation. So yeah, that could be a bruise. Okay, he's up and going. Nothing too crazy there, I guess. Not a lot of sympathy for our guy. Oh, we've got a Matt Damon sighting, chat. Hey, yo, of course, the Odyssey in theaters right now. We haven't seen the Odyssey yet, but I have, should we say spoiler alert? We have seen some spoiler alerts, and I hate to, I'd hate to spoiler it for the audience as well, too, here. But, it is what it is. We have to share our pain, I guess, share the trauma of the fact that the Odyssey got spoiled. Let's see if we can pull this up here real quick and see what we've got going on. I don't even know. The ending scene for the Odyssey. Look at this, chat. Look at this. We've got Matt Damon. Actually, spoiler alert, he does make it back. He does make it back, and he does see Michael Caine at the end, sitting across from him in a cafe. So, it's something about this seems familiar. Obviously, Nolan's used some similar themes throughout his movies before. He is a guy that talks about, time and things like that. He's used time warping and such. He's used a lot of the same actors before. Obviously, Michael Caine being one of them. I think is Michael Caine in the Odyssey? It'd be almost a shame if he wasn't. At some point, I don't know. Did Travis Scott take the Michael Caine spot? I'm not sure, but now he's just reusing scenes. Chat. Hey, yo, and I think Anne Hathaway is in the Odyssey as well too. So this could be real. This could be real. Hey, yo, I guess we'll see if he actually returns in Avengers Doomsday, like the credits are saying here at the end as well, too. Again, literally everybody's in that movie, so if what's his name in this? Odysseus. If Odysseus does pull up in the Avengers Doomsday, he's like, oh, I took a wrong turn, and now all of a sudden I'm in Battle World. Again, would it be surprising? But, hey, yo, Christopher Nolan's he's just reusing whole scenes now, chat. I guess for his movies. So, but I guess it is a good ending. So we can't necessarily be bummed out about it as well too. So and I guess it's not. We don't really know what the dynamics of this cafe is. This looks more like an indoor situation. It almost looks, again more. I know Game of Thrones is obviously very medieval inspired, but. And there is some fantasy, there is some fantasy elements to the Odyssey there, but again, it does seem a little more like Game of Thrones-esque than maybe the Odyssey. I'm not sure, but yeah, Chad. Again, not to spoil the Odyssey, but we did see the ending scene here for the movie, so maybe save you a little bit of the runtime as well too. Like we're saying, we've got the Odyssey and Spider-Man back to back here weeks. So, maybe you can be a little smart with the budget. Now that now you've seen the end of the Odyssey. Michael Caine, the nod to Matt Damon at the honestly, almost every Christopher Nolan movie could end that way in some ways. Does it kind of? And I'm trying to think, does Tenet end with like John David giving the nod to the lady there as she drops the kid off for school? I think maybe there's kind of a similarity there. Tenet, maybe. I think Michael Caine does give the nod to Leo. Pause. Hey, he gives the nod to Leo at the end of Inception. Is crazy, chat. Hey, yeah. But you get what we're saying there in the in the Christopher Nolan, I guess, sense of the phrase. Hey, yo, it is what it is. But yeah, that was kind of a tough one to see. And I did see another cameo as well too. Speaking of Travis Scott, I guess. Speaking of, having other people in the Odyssey, let's see if we can find it here, chat. Is it recently? I guess speaking of Travis Scott, there we go. We got him right there. But yeah, it looks like maybe we didn't save that one. I don't know. But I did see maybe Speed is in the Odyssey. Let's see if we can look this up here real quick. Odyssey. If we can learn how to spell, maybe, potentially. Yeah, chat. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, multiple scenes. Hey, yo, I didn't even realize that. But looks like we got a couple of cameos in the movie that we weren't expecting as well, too. Some scenes. I guess maybe a sponsorship from this Honda van as well, too. I don't know. Oh, is it a Honda Odyssey? Oh, chat, look at that. So if Nolan doesn't have a Honda Odyssey in the Odyssey, I mean, what is he doing? I mean, is Nolan even a businessman at that point? Hey, yo. But, I mean, Nolan needs to be listening to Jay-Z and not Travis Scott. He could be a businessman, not a businessman. But, What are we saying? I guess, like we're saying, I guess we are looking forward to it. So we will go see it here soon, and maybe actually spoil it at some point. But for now, we didn't make it through. I guess when does the opening weekend count? So if we go tomorrow, is that still in the opening weekend, or is that in the next week? I don't exactly know how that works for the movie box office there. Where is our ticket number going to count for the Odyssey? We will have to see, but I don't know. Maybe pushing it off is not a good thing, because now, like we're saying, that's gonna combine it with the Spider-Man. So we'll just have to see how that goes there. Or maybe as the scenes continue to drop, as everybody remakes the Odyssey, as through the Dark Knight trilogy with AI, we're just gonna be like, oh, I guess we saw the movie, so we'll just or we just rewatch the Dark Knight trilogy tonight and just pretend it's Odysseus instead of Batman. Does Odysseus ever go train with Ra's al Ghul? I bet there is basically some. I mean, the hero's journey. Hey, yo. I mean, the Odyssey is one of those stories. It's like Shakespeare. Like they say, like, there's so many. It's like one of those things. There's all these things that have been taken into modern storytelling from these stories, and I'm not doubting it as well too. But when all these stories start building on each other too, again, not to say that at the end of the day it's not all going back to like a Shakespeare story or something like that, but again, you don't necessarily hear the same sort of influence directly to that stuff. Again, now it's like my inspiration's like Brian De Palma, instead of, or Martin Scorsese or Spike Lee or something like that, and that's not a bad thing. Those guys are obviously the modern day artists, especially in the the storytelling way, and the mainstream storytelling way, movies being that. But again, the Odyssey is one of those things. It's just like, oh, the Odyssey is so prevalent in every story. It's like, I don't know one thing that goes on in the Odyssey. So I guess it is, again, like we're saying, one of those baseline stories that everybody resorts back to. And I guess Nolan, in some ways, like we're saying, has been having those those story beats in his movies all the time. Is that William H. Macy in attendance? Hey, yo, Trevor Noah as well too. Just a little celebrity check-in, I guess. Speaking of the DVD pile, we do have Fargo in the DVD pile. William H. Macy, not necessarily like a guy that I would go-to actor, but obviously that's a sneaky one right there. Shout out Fargo. Adrian Brody as well too, Chet. Hey, yo, where are the A-listers? What are we doing? This is the World Cup. We've got William H. Macy and shout out to William H. Macy and Adrian Brody. Those guys have obviously, legends in the industry. Adrian Brody, 2-time Oscar winner. Hey, yo, he's probably looking at Messi thinking like, Messi's trying to get on my level over here. Messi's only got 1 World Cup. I've got two best Oscars. Hey, yo, honestly, Adrian Brody might be studying for the Messi biopic. I think Adrian Brody could play Messi in a movie. They not to call him out right now. Again, no judge against Adrian Brody. Who are we to call a guy, a little lean, pause. But, I don't know if Adrian Brody's like looking like an, professional soccer player right now. But if you have seen 2010, he did make a movie in the Predator franchise. So I feel like now we have to clarify, because Robert Pattinson's making the Chris Hansen To Catch a Predator movie. And it's like, no, we're talking about the old school Predator, creature feature franchise. Arnold and Carl Weathers and those guys. And Adrian Brody did play in a 2010 version of it. That is pretty good. We did do an anniversary rewatch of it last year. So, again, one of the fun Adrian Brody movies, I guess, that, we do go back to. And it's not like he's in a ton of, I do say random, but he's not just in a ton of like action thriller type of stuff. We've got a guy for Argentina with the full-on tackle of Lamine Yamal over here. So I don't know what kind of card they're going to give him there, but it might just be a holding penalty or something. I'm not sure. But what were you saying for Brody? That is one, again, in his filmography that is in the lane of movie that we do watch, compared to maybe some of the more, artistic performances that we go. We hate artistic performances here on the Reverend Sam Pod. No, it's just, again, maybe what are you always throwing on to rewatch as well too. But I guess the point is he could get into athlete shape if he needed to be. So I don't know, maybe I don't know, Chad. It is close. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Adrian Brody, Lionel Messi. I guess maybe a little prosthetic, a little makeup work, but I feel like it's pretty. I feel like there is something there. The facial hair situation is pretty close. So hey, after I mean, even if he doesn't, I guess, win this game necessarily, again, the Messi career is legendary. The Messi career is gonna get a biopic at some point, and that's probably what you just call it, right? Just Messi or something like that. I mean, Michael's biopic is just Michael. So it would be Messi. I don't think the Messi biopic would outgross the Michael biopic. I mean, is Messi more famous than Michael Jackson? I don't think so. I don't think so. The only reason I would hesitate, the only reason I'm questioning it is because I'm trying to think in other just lanes of culture, who else could get, I guess maybe besides politics or something like that. Lanes of entertainment culture, who else could get on the fame level of what Michael Jackson got to. And of course, just soccer is the biggest sport in the world. It could definitely get there, as well. Pele. Is Pele all time as famous as Michael? Can we do a little Instagram check here real quick? How many Instagram followers does Michael Jackson have? I've never thought about that. I don't know. Speaking of, chat, the first post that we open to Instagram, and again, it is algorithm based, but it did involve Michael. Okay, he's got 16.8 on Insta. Again, obviously he is, rest in peace. He is passed at this point, so it is a little bit different. Messi sitting at 513 mil. So if MJ was alive, would MJ be at like 520 million Instagram followers? I mean, there is a case. There's a case. Like, how many is Ariana Grande at right now? Let's see. She's got to be, she's at like 363. So there's got to be at least 500 million Instagram followers for, again, alive. And, obviously, we're just thinking about that context as well, too. Obviously, not to, complicate, the storylines or anything like that. But, just again, for the worldwide sort of notoriety level, I'm just trying to think, like, I don't think, other, like maybe family members that I would have that are as tuned into pop culture. I mean, they would know who Messi is, I guess. So, again, just in terms of knowing the name, I guess the names, they would know both of them. But I think they'd be more familiar with the works of Michael Jackson. I don't know. Again, you just hear a song. And I guess that is the thing with the athlete. Like, you don't have the, Messi highlights just start playing in the mall. I guess, you just don't like start playing Messi goals in the mall at some point, though. Maybe they do in Argentina, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking here in Iowa, like, you don't just start walking through the ball and then it's just like, okay, like, that's a random sports highlight from back in the day. But that would be cool, though, if you were just like in Cleveland shopping at a mall, then all of a sudden, break between songs, they're like, let's just play the highlight from the 2016 finals. Oh, blocked by James. I mean, who's not gonna get chills listening to that? Hey, obviously you could have a whole string of, a whole run of LeBron highlights. You could have that buzzer beater that he hit versus the Pistons in like 07. That's a pretty iconic moment as well, too. Just even like random plays that don't even have to be buzzer beaters, dunks and posters and things like that, but crossovers, again, hey, LeBron's got quite a few highlights to choose from. Kyrie Irving, you could add the play where Kyrie Irving just cooks Brandon Knight in the All-Star game. That's a fun, if I'm just thinking of Cleveland player-focused highlights that I like. That's a fun one. Hey, he definitely was in his bag for that combo that he pulled there. But maybe that's the next evolution, chat. Hey, you need to just have sports. Imagine if Spotify did that. I don't even know how Spotify would work that in, but just like a sports call playlist, just iconic calls of all time. I guess you couldn't necessarily have the helmet catch. Hey, shout out to Joe Buck. It'd be a little bit of a letdown call, I guess. I don't know. But the Minnesota Miracle is an all-time call, so we're making fun of him, but that is an all-time call from our guy Joe Buck. So you could have that one in there where where Stephon Diggs, of course, has the crazy Hail Mary sideline touchdown against the Saints in the playoff game, and you got Joe Buck, Diggs sideline touchdown. Just maybe game over is the last one, but that's that's definitely maybe a top moment for Joe Buck's career there. But that'd be interesting. I mean, I guess you could just have artists, sampling that into songs as well too. But if you just had iconic call playlist on Spotify and you could just go through and just listen to iconic sports calls, I don't know. Be like sports radio. Maybe put a little bit of a filter over it so it has a little bit of a little bit of a tone or something like that has like that little bit of an old radio vibe maybe. But Or you could have, of course, again, even old radio ones as well, too, like Havlicek stole the ball or something like that. Do we have any radio evidence of Wilt's 100-point game? Maybe we could start looking into that as well, too. But I guess we still have Adrian Brody's picture up here in the background. Shout out to Adrian Brody. I guess we're unofficially announcing that the Rem Sam will be partnering with Adrian Brody. Hey, yo, chat, what is this? Adrian Brody straight from the heart. Oh, and he's got his hand over his heart there. That's pretty artistic. You like to see that. But what are we saying? We're unofficially announcing the fact that we will be partnering with Adrian Brody for the Lionel Messi biopic. So we'll see. Can he get this hairdo for the Messi biopic? I think Messi may have had this sort of hairdo at some point. Chat, I think this is going to work. I don't know how method he's going to go. Like, Messi's a pretty chill guy, so I don't know if there's like a ton of method, lanes for him to go for acting. But, again, for that, being able to portray a great athlete like Messi could be pretty fun. And I forgot, it does recommend here Adrian Brody King Kong. I guess I forgot he's in that movie as well, too. What's the director there? Peter Jackson. The Peter Jackson remake for that is pretty fun as well, too. But that's a bit of a task to throw on. So, again, 2010's Predators is definitely a little bit of a, more brisk watch. That's for sure. But I guess shout out. We'll see if that ever actually gets into development at some point. We'll do the best we can, chat. We'll still have to cast, I guess, the rest of the team. Have they ever done a Pele movie? There's no way they haven't. But it doesn't seem like it's been, all that major. I guess, no disrespect. But, again, if I have to ask the question, they did Pele, The Birth of Pele, kind of, it's on Tubi right now. Hey, yo. So, and Pele himself is in the movie. Look at that, man sitting in hotel lobby. Vincent D'Onofrio is in this? What's he, like, recruiting? What is Vincent D'Onofrio doing in this movie? They're like, I guess we just have to have an American actor in it. But this looks pretty fun, I guess. Maybe a little bit of a under-the-radar situation. PG, leaning into the feel-good vibes, I guess. I don't know, rated R Pele. I don't know what, that would look like. But I guess just more of an adult film. And they have Pele 2001. Oh, a Netflix movie. Maybe this does look a little familiar as well. Also, Pele, is this more of a documentary? Oh, okay, this might be a documentary. I was going to say Ali, no, obviously, he could definitely be in the movie. But maybe would lean a little more documentary if it was both Pele and Ali, listed at the top of the cast here. But yeah, the definitive story of the man who personified soccer, which he called the beautiful game, and how he changed the sport forever. So I guess there really hasn't been like the major Pele movie in a sense. Again, I don't want to step on the 2016 movie, but that just didn't have the same situation as, again, like Michael or Oppenheimer or something like that. And it should as well. Like, he is, as big of a star as any of those guys. Hey, yo, is Pele about as close to world peace as we've ever gotten? I'm not sure. But, again, for just the hype of the movie, like, could have been that. What was Michael PG-13? I guess it wasn't rated R, was it? That would have been maybe a little bit of a reach for the biopic. Yeah, PG-13. So I guess $1 billion rated R biopic. I guess that's kind of what Oppenheimer is in a little bit. But it did, Michael did officially cross the billion mark first. So, you do have to give it its credit there. Oppenheimer, I think just short in the 900 mil. It's like the Kevin Garnett of biopics, just a bunch of long. It's like the long two. It's like, 900 mil for Oppenheimer. Hey, yo, chat again. The 38% is the critic score on the Rotten Tomatoes. That's crazy. Is that going to get revised at some point? Will they go back and update that? Hey, yo. Because look at that. 97% on the popcorn meter. It is what it is. And I guess, you obviously go, look at the reviews and stuff. I mean, exactly what the, I guess the critics were complaining about. But then, hey, yo. You still watch the movie and you're like, is this just not a good time? Is this just not fun to, have the greatest, musicians' music in the world on screen for a while and have a, exact portrayal of him as well, too, is pretty fun. But at least Sergio Burstein from the LA Times looks like he liked it as well, too. Michael is a work with high production value whose ability to entertain makes it susceptible to being watched several times. Oh, look at that, chat. Whose ability to entertain makes it susceptible to being watched several times. Remember when Roger Ebert used to write about movies? Hey, yo, chat. Hey, yo. No disrespect, I guess. Again, I wouldn't say that we're, eloquent with the pen over here. But still, again, as the review of the movie, it says maybe that's just like the opening sentence or something like that. Oh, is it being translated? It says full review in Spanish. It might be being translated, I guess, but so maybe they're, I don't know, some of the sentence structure or something there. But still, maybe we'll have to look into that and see what is going on there. It says Dwight Brown. Wait, is this a critic or is this a fan? DwightBrownInc.com. Oh, it's a critic. We'll give him credit. 2.5 out of 4. You feel his presence join music. Does the footage push biofilm genre boundaries? No. It says, oh, Chad, I don't even know if we can use these words by Christy Lemire. Hey, yo, that seems a little disrespectful there. A film's reverence because it says a film's reverence because its limitations, resulting in a portrait that dazzles on the surface but avoids complexities, might have made it truly illuminating. The final boss of all musical biopics, Michael has no interest behind the King of Pop's curtain. 1.5 out of 5. Hey, yo, 1.5 out of 5 again. Michael doesn't know what it wants to be. That's not, I don't know if that's true at all. Hey, yo, I think it knows exactly what it wants to be. It flies right through. Hey, I guess that's, gonna read all the reviews here for the Michael movie. But critic consensus, while Jafar Jackson's smooth moves, that almost feels disrespectful as well too. While Jafar Jackson's smooth moves bring the King of Pop to uncanny life, this musical biopic mostly plays like a great hits album that could have benefited from including liner notes to give actual insight into the icon. I mean, we did the rants about the Michael movie when it happened. It is what it is. Again, the critics just don't understand. It's literally the recipe for a great movie right there. They said plays mostly like a greatest hits album. Like, yes, perfect. That's awesome. I mean, we're not like, I'm not sitting here saying sanitize the Michael Jackson story, but to be entertained by the Michael Jackson story, I think the music is a pretty good place to start. So, again, for having the story, run through that doesn't seem like a bad thing at all. And it is a musical biopic as well too. It is about the life of a musical star and his music. So again, that being at the focus also would make sense. But hey, yo, Chad, again, Messi versus Michael Jackson, who is more famous? Do we have to ask the Gemini and see what's going on? Hey, yeah, that sounds like a wizard person that we know that IT is like keeping around in the back over there. Like it's like the magic genie bottle or something like that. Break open Gemini. Let's see what's going on here. But let's see what we got. Hey, yo, Chad, I just noticed little tiny numbers on some of the letters on the keyboard for the first time ever. I've had this computer for a couple years. That's pretty crazy. But what are we saying for who is more famous? If we put MJ, it's going to give us Michael Jackson. That's how you know Michael's more famous, in that sense. Obviously, we do have, Michael Jordan as a option there as well too. Who is more famous, Michael Jackson or Messi? Hey, yo, is it even close, Chad? I mean, no disrespect to Messi as he's trying to get the World Cup here right now. It's still 0-0, 42 minutes. So, we're still keeping an eye at this point. Spade's still getting some good pressure on the goal, but I guess that one a little off to the right there. So, analysis corner from the REMINGTOM pod. It says, while Messi is a living legend, arguably one of the most wrestling peaceful life, Michael takes the crown for the highest peak of global. Gemini just shuts it all down. It just says in human history. Hey, yo, not even close. Lionel Messi, mega superstar, modern, hyper-connected world because of the internet, social media, daily visibility, massive power of football. Messi has 500 million followers on Instagram alone. In terms of data, clicks, daily views, has more eyes on a Tuesday afternoon than most 21st century stars do in a year. Despite his status in the sports world, he can still be regionally or easily ignored. Hey, yo. It says when it comes down to a shift in how the world works, Messi represents the pinnacle of fame in the internet age. However, Michael has achieved a level of fame that borders modern folklore. Because the media landscape is now so fragmented, it's virtually impossible to have any modern celebrity, including Messi. I mean, Messi is, pretty modern celebrity. I don't know. But, okay, let's try MJ versus Pele and see if maybe Pele can compete. I can't think of another soccer player that would be, legendary, that'd be more famous than Pele. Again, he is the other name that you would bring up. Otherwise, you are talking about the legends of, today, like we're saying, Messi and Ronaldo, and then other famous guys. Like David Beckham would be a famous soccer player, but again, I don't know if he's going to be on, obviously, this type of level that we're talking about. And also, I don't know if David Beckham was, well, I think David Beckham was pretty good. I shouldn't speak on his game. I don't really know, but it says MJ versus Pele. What's it say? Michael. Oh, we get multiple battles here. Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan versus Pele. It says, I guess if we want to give Pele the win, then maybe we compare him to Michael Jordan. I don't know. But it says, while Pele was a mythic figure recognized in every corner of the earth, Michael Jackson's reach through music videos, and his distinct visual style gave him a higher level of immediate universal recognition. So Pele should have done more music videos, is basically what the Gemini is saying. If Pele had directed Thriller, then maybe he would be in the conversation. But unfortunately, Thriller, I guess, is better. Is Thriller better than the World Cup that Pele won? I don't know. We might have to go back and investigate the details of that, because that was a pretty iconic moment as well, too. But obviously, again, then like we're saying, there is Thriller. So, and that led to the $1 billion biopic that's still going. So, and like we're saying, the Pele biopic, it's not like they had the smaller, underrated Michael biopic before this that didn't work, and then this is the one that worked. It's just like, no, this is the one, and then boom, it just hit, obviously, right away, because it is Michael. But still, for the modern day, I think Messi is arguably now more popular than the most popular guy that we have right now, just in modern culture. And maybe that's the first time an athlete has been that. I don't know. Again, if MJ was that if Michael Jackson was that for a while there, has it always been a musician in some sense? And there is obviously a universal sense to music there as well too, as there is to soccer. But maybe it would be more likely for it to be a musician. I guess we'd have to go look the timeline for the history of the most famous person in the world. Maybe it'd be like a painter at some point or something. I'm not sure. Those guys used to be pretty famous. Well, they used to be famous afterwards. It'd be like painters would die, and then they'd be like, oh, we have to auction off this guy's work for $1 million, $3 million. I don't know exactly what the economy of painting was back then, but it did seem like it was a little bit of the wealth afterwards, is what you always hear about with some of those guys. But I mean, is this no surprise? Maybe a no score here for the first half for Spain versus Argentina. Spain, I think, was favored. If we're trying to find hints to help us figure out what's going on here, Spain was favored plus 25. But it is interesting when a team goes into the game favored at plus odds. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen that before in any other sport. They did have Argentina close at like plus 2 something. So, again, it wasn't like just because Spain is the plus odds, they're the underdog. They were still a favorite there. And then it also has draw as an option. It closed at plus 2.5. It's plus 150 now. So what does that mean? You could just have a draw in the World Cup. They could just tie and be like, well, I guess all that for nothing. There's no World Cup winner this year. Everybody go home. That's a bummer. Spain won versus Argentina. Nobody scored. Like, they don't just go in. Oh, I guess, but is it draw in overtime? And then you bet, so you're betting for the game to be 0-0 and then go for a penalty at that point is essentially what you're betting for. But that still is like, it's not a draw. It's just going into, or like the game can't end in a draw, essentially. Like, obviously, regular season football, regular season, I guess, I don't know, regular season basketball, we don't really have ties in regular season basketball. But regular season football, you can get there. Obviously, if you play the overtime out. And as they've tweaked the overtime rules, it has become a little easier, giving teams more opportunities. You just have like one drive each quarter, and all of a sudden the quarter's basically done at that point, and teams just end up tying. But it's like, this is the World Cup. It'd be like Super Bowl Seahawks versus Pats, is it going to be a tie at some point in this game? We play one overtime and then it's done. Or, the NBA Finals, we only play 6 games. Or something like that. Like, what are we doing here? Why can I bet a draw? Like, how is that even a possibility? But, we'll see. Maybe draw for the first half, obviously, could be something as well, too. But there is a couple seconds left in the first half. Spain with a Hail Mary attempt a little bit. I don't know if they're going to get enough pressure here to get a goal. But they did, appear, hot take, as the more aggressive team, at least early on. Anyways, I don't know. We can only judge by like where the game's being played at. Like, if it was like earlier being played more around the Argentina goal, then maybe it did move more into the midfield area. But didn't seem to, totally get down into the Spain side of things. So there we go. First half analysis from the REMINGTOM pod for the World Cup. Hey, yo, but we're here to see Messi at the end of the game do something crazy. Is basically what we're staying tuned for, because that's the Argentina way at this point. Spain, obviously, a crazy team themselves, so there's potential for something great here just on their side alone. But obviously, everybody is, waiting on edge pause for whatever Messi can or just Argentina can do, and then Messi can get credit for. But whatever Argentina can do to have magic moments at the end of this game is essentially the waiting situation here. And there was, I guess, a little bit of a moment. Hey, yo, some win percentage opportunities. Can we track this here real quick? Or timeline and momentum. So they stole momentum for a little bit at one point. But yeah, again, Spain has mostly had it here. Oh, wait a second. We're going the wrong way on the timeline. How come we can't access it, chat? Hey, yo. I guess we can only access the yellow cards and the substitutions is maybe what it is showing us there. Commentary odds bracket. How come we can't see this? Hey, yo. I want to see percentages. Your boy likes stats. Hey, yo, let me read the stats. But I guess point being it was kind of tied here for a while, a little bit. Oh, and even, early as well too. There was a little dip back to Argentina. Chat, hey, yo, pause. We're just talking about the match percentages here is all. But yeah, I mean, just based on that alone, you see that Argentina has been the more aggressive team here. The recent history, or Spain has been the more aggressive team. The recent history of these teams, let's see here. I guess, is this just the World Cup? Because this goes all the way back to 1966. Argentina won 2-1. So I don't know if can we take any lessons from the 1966 group stage game? I think that one might be, they might be different teams at this point. Even 06, some differences in the roster. But yeah, Spain won that one 2-1. Then they won in 09. Then Argentina 4-1 in 2010. And then Spain 6-1 in 2018. But again, even 2018, like Yamal wasn't even around yet. Yamal wasn't even around yet at this point. So, again, I don't know if there's any sort of lessons to be had there, but at least, you do see that Spain was the team with the advantage. So second half up next, chat again. Argentina dipping in the odds at this point, but it's still 0-0, so that's what counts. As we hold out hope, I guess, for the Messi greatness tour to continue. Shout out to Spain, shout out to Yamal. As much as this has been the era in some ways of like, oh, the new guys in sports, like, well, Wemby going for the title and stuff this year. It is like, oh, we still kind of want the legend to be the champion here. At least, at least for here on the REMINGTOM pod, we're pro Messi. At least until Sam calls in and he's like, wait a second, we're rooting for Lamal. But I don't know, Chad. Until then, we're we're all rooting for Messi over here. So, and our guy Ginobili as well too. Where's Ginobili? Hey, yo, I guess shout out. We're not gonna call him out for not going to the game. Again, obviously, it's a crazy ticket to go to the NBA. Ginobili was playing in a different era at the NBA. If Ginobili was playing in the NBA now, maybe he would be at the World Cup again. Ginobili now is like a $55 million a year player. Back then he's making like, it's still good money for him. He's making like $12 million a year or something like that. Again, still great, but is that World Cup ticket money? I guess still probably can figure out how to make that work. But maybe it's not bring the family to World Cup ticket money. Maybe it's just solo trip to World Cup ticket money. I don't know. But you're right. His guy, I guess Messi and Ginobili. I don't know. Have we had the Messi Ginobili link up at some point? Ginobili's obviously always hanging out with Spurs guys at Spurs dinners and stuff like that. Is he ever at the Argentina? Ginobili, Messi, and Luis Scola hanging out for a dinner. I'm not sure, but hey, yo, we do have the second half of, like we say, Argentina versus Spain. Up next, stay tuned. What's going to happen? Will the legendary Messi, have to save Argentina? Spain will probably jump out to, like a quick lead, and then Messi will have to pull him back here for the second half. Will it actually happen? I guess is the question. So stay tuned. We'll find out right after this. All right, chat, we are back, and I didn't realize they had the Muppets performing at the World Cup halftime. Hey, yo, it started out as Madonna. I mean, that seemed like it was gonna go well. I was like, okay, that's pretty hyped up. Again, we weren't necessarily locked into what the World Cup halftime would be, but we were playing Madonna on the Spotify last night. We had some Madonna queued up, as you do. It's 2026. Madonna hasn't fallen out of the rotation quite yet. And, again, it's like, oh, Madonna's doing halftime at World Cup, and then she walks out to the stadium, and it's just all of a sudden they cut to some Muppets. Hey, yo, bring back Madonna. Also, now the closed captioning says Love Island Eli Manning go. I don't know what this song is, Chad. Is this a song? This is definitely a radio song I've heard back in the day. So it's like the da 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 da, but I don't know like what the words are to that song. Wait a second, Chad. Sorry, I'm gonna have to mute real quick so I can remember what the words are to this song. Go back in time real quick. Okay, the minute I hit mute, they went to the part of the song like, nah 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 nah. I was like, okay, well I guess we're not gonna know any words there. It is what it is. But I know this song from like hearing like I know that hey yo, I know I've heard this song before. But I don't think that those are actually the words. I don't think the lyrics Love Island Eli Manning have ever been in a song. But if Eli Manning was on Love Island, I guess that would be pretty sick as well too. Shout out. I think he is like a a happily married guy at this point. We don't. I guess hey shout out Eli Manning. I don't want to assume either way. If he's ready to go on Love Island, he's ready to go. But if he's not, then again, we're not trying to get in the way there. But I think maybe he gets on as like a host or something like that. Or I don't know if what they do. Because I haven't really seen that show. The dating reality shows haven't been something that we've gotten into. And now Ted Lasso's out here for halftime. What happened to Madonna? Hey, yo, we only get one Madonna song? It is what it is, I guess. I think we can cut the Jason Sudeikis Ted Lasso bit and bring another Madonna song back out. But, okay, now we have Bieber running out as well, too. This is crazy. They just they just want people out here for the halftime. They don't want, like, actually, like, a cohesive set. What is this? What song are we going to get by Bieber here? I'm not sure. But he's definitely slowed the pace down. He's got his guitar out now. He's going to sing, chat. Hey, yo. At least he's not going to try to rap. There is I guess, a version where he does that as well, too. But I think his last album was pretty well received. Was that supposed to be a little more, hip-hop inspired? We'd have to go back and cue some of that up as well, too. But, speaking of Biebs, I guess that does actually pivot perfectly to some other news that we have in the timeline as well here. We have, apparently, Biebs and Brady, I don't know, they were around. They were at, I guess, the UFC event here. And these guys were working the striking challenge. Hey, yo, the punching machine. So I guess we have to go back and see. What did Bieber have there? A 7.78? So Brady steps up. Brady, I don't want to spoil his score here, but Brady puts over up an 800. There we go. 811 for our guy Brady, making it look like a 911 there for the cameraman. But 811 for our guy Brady. We see Djokovic doesn't really put a lot of effort into it. A 691 is not all that much. And then Cody Rhodes not really holding up for the WWE that well. Again, not to spoil, but a 657. Hey, yo. Cody Rhodes couldn't even match Bieber on the striking challenge. Hey, yo. According to the math, Justin Bieber could beat up Cody Rhodes is basically what we're saying. And then obviously Tom Brady could, beat up all these guys as well, too. Tom Brady definitely put the most effort into it. So maybe he felt like he had the most to lose here. He is definitely, again, respect to Djokovic, respect to Bieber. I think Brady over Bieber for the legacy rankings. No disrespect to Bieber. Peak Bieber back in the day is, again, like obviously a very, very famous guy. But, does Bieber have 7 titles in his career? I guess equivalent for music is the question we have to ask ourselves. But, I think Brady, either way, just being the pro athlete in the sense, like he does have to, in the athletic challenge, I think he does need to step up and win the athletic challenge here over Bieber. So the fact that he does do that, again, Brady, just pull it up, winning everything, I guess. But then there was this other clip over here as well of Brady just, let me see if we can find it. Did I save the clip of Brady? Maybe I didn't save it. There was another one of him just launching half-court jumpers as well, too. And it's like, okay, Brady's over here putting up 800 on the striking challenge, hitting half-court jumpers with 7 Super Bowls. Like, what can you not do? Bieber, I think he just took his shirt off for every athletic competition he was doing because This might have actually been before the punching bag, though. So if we get a timeline of events here, not to like make, speaking of Christopher Nolan, Chad, this is like a Christopher Nolan movie as we track, Justin Bieber's movements through this sporting venue here. We're going in reverse timeline. So he starts with the pitching challenge. I guess he feels the need to take his shirt off to, have the more accurate pitch. You got to give him credit. Those, I'm not going to say like, we're not the AI pitch count situation over here. I'm not going to call a strike. What do we got? I mean, that does seem like it goes over the middle of the plate there for both those, honestly. Again, you got to give them credit. I don't know if they were low going into the strike zone, but, and I don't know if that second one was a little off to the right as well, too. But it does seem like they both did end up getting there. And that one definitely gets to the catcher. The other one seemed to bounce like right in front of the catcher. So I'm assuming that still got to the plate as well. So again, you do have to give Bieber his credit. Turns out MLB pitchers should be pitching shirtless. Hey yo, I'm surprised that we're the ones to pitch it. Oh, Shakira. Hey yo, speaking of shirtless, Joe. Hey yo, now Shakira's still got a shirt on for this one. But what do you say? Either way, Bieber, I guess, with the impressive pitching there, and then from there, I guess potentially moves into the striking challenge. Is what it looks like. So I guess this was a Fanatics event and there was different sporting situations at the Fanatics event. Maybe it wasn't specifically tied to, the McGregor event specifically. Because I did also see a video of Djokovic pulling up for UFC or for WWE as well too, with like a mask on and stuff there. So, again, all these guys were, really promoing there as well. But he did not care about the striking challenge at all. He barely even got to 700. Cody Rhodes, I think, like, couldn't make up his mind if he cared. And then it looked like he may have even hurt his hand as well. So, again, really showing that he's, I guess we don't want to say the least athletic of the bunch, because Cody Rhodes would definitely, walk into this studio and throw us around. That's for sure. Hey, yo, pause. But, again, in terms of, going up against Tom Brady, like, you would still assume that Cody Rhodes could, throw a better punch than Brady. But TB12, Chad, they're going to be using this in ads for forever. They're going to be like, no bull, TB12 is the best, and it's just going to be him in slow-mo hitting the striking machine. Be like 8-11. They're going to have like 8-11 promos. Now, August 11th is going to be Tom Brady to 8-11. He put up 8-11 on the punching bag. Hey, yo. So, again, shout out to the champ Brady. And shout out to the Bieber, I guess, for pulling up for halftime as well, too. If that is something that he does have over Brady, maybe in the Bieber versus Brady fame rankings as well too. Do we have to do that, Chad? We did MJ versus Messi. Let's go Bieber versus Brady, and let's see what we get. Tom Brady bunch. Hopefully, AI is able to, know what we are talking about here. Is there a Brady in soccer that I'm not, knowing about as well? Nope. Tom Brady. Okay. The international juggernaut. Is Justin Bieber at 15 years old? Was he more popular than Brady? It says 290 Instagram followers for Bieber is a good, a good argument there. 290 Instagram followers to 7 Super Bowls. It's basically the argument that we have. Oh, it says the verdict is Bieber is significantly more famous on a global scale. He is a household name in virtually every country. Tom Brady is a titan of sports, but his fame is heavily concentrated in the U.S. Oh, chat. Hey, yo. I hate to do Bieber versus LeBron. Do we have to do Bieber versus LeBron? Hey, yo, I don't know. But speaking of basketball, chat. Hey, yo, I don't know. Do we have Mike Greenberg, running the teleprompter for us in the background? We might. But we do have to have a little basketball on in the background, even with the World Cup. Obviously, again, the World Cup is the, the pinnacle of sporting events. But we still can't shy away from basketball. It is what it is. And we do have a great, sort of rivalry game on in the background as well, too. Shout out to the W. But we've got an Angel Reese rematch versus Chicago. I don't want to, I can't imagine this is the first time they played each other. Because Atlanta, they've both played 25 games this year. So I would imagine, again, there's, 12 teams in the W at this point. Not trying to, that's just the league. I guess it's probably up to 14 now with the expansion teams that they've added in. But still, the point is the math at 25 games. I'm trying to make, they would have probably matched up already. I think she made the return to Chicago. But, anytime that they're going to be playing each other, especially recently, here this first year after the trade, that is going to be there. And maybe the teams played each other as well, too. I don't know if Angel Reese herself played in Chicago. We'd have to go back and double check that as well. But, hey, yo, Chad, we got the report locked in. She is out there right now. So we can go ahead and, let you know, just in case, you don't have the game tuned on in the background as well. But leading into this game, they had another basketball game on. They had some big three. So, shout out to Ice Cube. We just did, Boys in the Hood week this past week. I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot that we could throw big three on this summer and watch that as well. Hey, yo, maybe that is, shout out to the W there. The W has taken over the big three in our basketball watching, habits. I guess at this point, I don't even know what the big three schedule is. Do we have weeks left in the year? Imagine the big threes like competing against the World Cup would be, obviously a test of where the league is at this point. But maybe, maybe they were able to go a little later into the summer. Okay, week 5. Oh, they're in Chicago right now. Okay, Chad, we should have gone to big three basketball. Okay, they'll be in Detroit next week. Okay, we do have some weeks left. Miami, Atlanta, Houston, Boston, Dallas, I guess is when they start. Middle of August is when they're going to have the playoffs. Okay, we'll lock in for big three playoffs in August. But do we have stats for these games here? Because we had a crazy performance in one of the games today. Let me see, what was the game that we had on leading in? It was this game here, Chicago Triplets versus the LA Riot. So I guess we don't have stats necessarily, but I was like, these teams are good. Hey, yo, we might have to watch the big three. It's like running into some old friends. Yeah, Montrezl Harrell was on the Triplets. Kostas Koufis was on the LA Riot. Hey, yo, the Montrezl Harrell, Brandon Moss, Amir Johnson, Wesley Johnson, Leonardo Barbosa, and then Dr. J is coaching this team. I mean, again, this team, these are all legit players here. And Montrezl Harrell was going crazy in this game. Montrezl Harrell had like 38 of the team's 50 points. So it's like the Wilt Chamberlain of the big three. Apparently, Montrezl Harrell passed his own scoring record in that game. So, again, we're, witnessing greatness. And maybe Montrezl Harrell needs an NBA contract again. But big three might be good for Montrezl Harrell. Kind of, because he was kind of a, do you say score first guy in the NBA? He did obviously provide a lot of energy as well, too. Could get rebounds, tough, defender when you needed him to be. But for, again, the most part, he is kind of a bucket getter. Like, if he was like a 6-man scorer, he never had the perimeter game of Naz Reid totally. But if he did, I think that would have been, his best role in the NBA for himself anyways, would have been to be like a Naz Reid type. So, the big three, he can get the shots, I guess, is essentially what I'm trying to say. So he has the opportunity, I guess, to put up 40 in a big three game, Again, that's probably going to be 6 to 8 shots a game in an NBA game. But, still, again, Montrezl Harrell balling out. I don't know. They're hiding the ages here on the Big Three website. Amir Johnson, hey, yo, Chad. I mean, are we calling out LeBron? Looking a little LeBron with the beard here. Hey, yo. I mean, that just shows you, again, shout out to LeBron, obviously, still balling out, still, has the league on hold for where he's going to be playing basketball this next year as well. But yeah, Chad, we're going to have to lock into the big three and see what is going on. I guess I would assume that Harrell has to be up near the top for points per game. Is Harrell on top? Do we have an MVP ladder for the big three? Oh, Elijah Stewart is leading. Michael Beasley, of course, Chad. How can we forget about Michael Beasley as well, too? Look at this, Greg Monroe. Oh, Chad. Oh, and he leads in rebounds as well, too. Greg Monroe would be a beast in the big three. Again, speaking of Montrezl Harrell, Greg Monroe is kind of in that same lane, but yeah, a little taller, 6'11". So at his peak, Greg Monroe, did he make an All-Star game? He might have made an All-Star game, or at least was kind of on the surface there at some point. Do you say like LaMarcus Aldridge light for Greg Monroe at times in his NBA career? Again, I don't remember if he quite got to 20 a game as well, too. All rookie, anyways, his first year. Okay, not quite that much, but 16 a game, in Detroit in 2012, 2013. So was still, very, very capable and had quite a run here of high teens for points per game in Detroit. Then had that season in Milwaukee. So, five seasons here, a half a decade. He's 50%, 15 points a game, 50% from the field, 15-9. So, again, was obviously very, very capable in the NBA. Definitely could see him take a step forward in the big three as well. Oh, we have a little breakdown here of his game. First round pick, skilled big man with elite post game. Hey, I guess very, very brief breakdown of what we have going on. And we have Glenn Rice, what were we saying? Our guy Glenn Rice from Michigan. Shout out. So the Dallas Power seem to be like the powerhouse of the league at this point as well. We have Elijah Stewart and Greg Monroe and Glenn Rice, all from the Dallas Power, all leading the league in points, rebounds, and assists. So, again, they're obviously pretty good there. The Miami 305, Sean Williams and Beasley. Beasley leading in total field goals. Shocker. But Stewart as well in 3-pointers. Oh, 4-pointers. I forgot about the 4-pointers for Jeremy Pargo, as he's got 3 of them this year. Lance Stephenson's got 1. Corey Brewer's got 0 3-pointers. He's 3rd in the league. Or 0 4-pointers this year. But so do we have to go standings? I guess maybe it just kind of just started up as well, too. I can't imagine the regular season's that long, so we did have quite a few weeks of. Okay, 5 weeks at this point. And the triplet are 5-0, Chad. Montrezl Harrell might be the MVP. And then the Dallas Power at 4-1. I guess we can't be a Dallas Power fan and then also a San Antonio Spurs fan. That'd be a little contradictory there. I am kind of thinking Miami 305, even though they are 2-3. But maybe we just have to wait and see, when the big three gets a team in San Antonio or something like that. The DMV trilogy. So we got the triplet, the Dallas Power, the Boston Ball Hogs. Definitely not. DMV trilogy. Miami 305, LA Riot, Houston Rig Hands. Hey, I don't know about that one either. And then the Detroit Amps are 0-4. Hey, imagine being a tanking team in the big three. That'd be a bummer. I don't even know. Do you have draft picks here? Nasir Core, Corey Brewer, Harry Sims, Dante Green, Chris Johnson, Rick Mahorn is coaching this team. They honestly might need Rick Mahorn to play a little bit because, maybe you need your post guy in the big three. They don't have it, kind of a guard wing-based team as well, too. No disrespect to Harry Sims, but is he on the Greg Monroe, Montrezl Harrell level is basically what we're asking there. The Houston team as well. I don't know what's going on here. 1-3. Not necessarily a hot start. Oh, our guy Jonathan Simmons. Okay, shout out. We are fans. Kevin Murphy as co-captain. Vance Jackson, Adam Drexler, Isaiah Austin as well, too. Shout out. And Calvin Murphy is coaching this team. Okay, so Jonathan Simmons-led team. Maybe we have some higher expectations there as well. Who else is on this team? Oh, did we almost have a Spain goal, chat? Hey, we should mention the World Cup. 45 seconds into the second half, and we almost had a goal there for the World Cup. But we have to go back to the big three real quick. Miami 305. Oh, we've got Chalmers staying in Miami. So does that mean Giannis, when he's done with the Heat, he can just go play for the 305? Is that how the big three connects to the NBA? You could have the full system there, chat. Pause. You could go to the NBA. You could go to the NBA G League to start your career. You could start with the Austin Spurs, and then you could go to the San Antonio Spurs. And then once Wemby's done, he could retire and go to the Spurs big three team. The San Antonio needs a big three team. We got to keep these guys even, obviously it's their love of the game playing basketball as well too, just trying to provide the opportunity. But as fans, we want the opportunity to keep rooting for him as well too, is really what it is. I can't, if Wemby's going to play in the big three, I can't imagine him playing for another big three franchise than San Antonio. I guess unless we're Miami 305 fans, then maybe that would be the case. Because, you get the neon colorways is pretty fun. We get to go to Miami, I guess. But that's the thing. They don't have, home games in Miami. We can't, make the trip down to Miami. We're going to go see the 305 this week when they play. But, I guess it would be, when they go to when obviously they're in town. Or we could just go to the Miami week for the big three. We're in the big three. We're in Miami for the big three. Just typical NBA journalism there. But, this is fun. Michael Cooper as the coach. Shout out. Obviously, legendary, defensive player there. Lance Stevenson, kind of fun as well. Michael Beasley. We're pro Michael Beasley in the NBA sense here on the pod. A bucket getter as well. Obviously, some of the draft hype and stuff, how that all lines up. But, was obviously still capable of getting a bucket in the NBA. Was he going to, again, carry a team to the finals? But if he was, the fourth guy on a team, he could have had a role there. It never quite lined up. And maybe there was injuries as well too. I'm not sure, but I mean, he had the what is the I will say the sword quote, hey yo. But he had that quote where he's like, I don't even, I keep the sword sharp. I don't even wait for the battle or something like that. It's like, oh, I have to reevaluate Beasley's whole career now. At this point, was he a baller? But yeah, 19 points a game for Minnesota in 2010, 2011, 45% from the field. So, early on, he dipped down to 40% in Phoenix in 13, 14. 55 games for Miami. I guess wasn't really taking many shots when he was 50% from the field there. But for his career, 46% from the field. Again, 10 a game for his career is not like a ton. But, there was still some efficiency there. Never quite got to the three-point line. But, 35% from three. I just, obviously it wasn't the best version of the Michael Beasley NBA career. Is what it is. You hate to say it, but the basketball talent is, again, obviously undeniable, and he gets to find a second life in the big three. You love to see it. He gets to obviously show his competitiveness there. But to go back, I guess, through the timeline, drafted by Miami and then traded by Miami to Minnesota for a two second round picks, and then signed as a free agent by Phoenix, waived by Phoenix, and then just kind of signed and waived throughout the rest of his career there. But, again, I guess 08, 09 Miami, him and Wade would have, I mean, that should have been interesting. I'm not going to go back and say that there's no way that never should have worked. Like, again, those two guys with their bucket getting capabilities, I think definitely should have. Maybe, again, like Beasley going in and taking over a team or something like that. Maybe if he had not had another superstar there and some more free reign, who knows if that would have been better, or if, he had been more able to play there. We might have to go back and watch some 08, 09 Miami Heat games and see, like, okay, Michael Beasley, Dwayne Wade, what was going on? In 9-10, he started 78 games. So that's the season before they had LeBron and Wade, there was Beasley and Wade. Hey, yo. It should have been Beasley that was winning titles against Kevin Durant. So we have to go back and watch this Toronto game where Beasley was 11 for 19 for 28 points. Hey, yo, see if there's any way we can find it. It might be on League Pass, 2009. I bet can we access 2009 games on League Pass at this point? I don't even know. 2009, the Raptors. Okay, we would have had Bosch on here as well, too, going for 28. This is a fun game. Bargnani going for 14. Hey, yo. Yeah, Wade also had 19 shots. Also, Beasley, the better man in this game. They had Michael Beasley, Dwayne Wade, and Jermaine O'Neal. How did this team not work out, chat? Hey, yo, look at the talent all the way around. Carlos Arroyo as well, too. Maybe there starts to be a little bit of a drop-off there. But, yeah, Chad, hey, yo, the Michael Beasley career retrospective. We have been, like I said, maybe on the last live stream, and thinking about things to do for the summer. I was thinking about, do we do, like, a live stream where we just have, like, a, I say random, but just to say pick a player, not say, like, a birthday or something like that, not like a theme, but just, like, we just have a player, and we just go back and just, like, do the retrospective on the career as well. So maybe the first career retrospective will be Michael Beasley. Hey, yo, just go watch some highlights. Go just, again, do we say figure out what happened? This guy, retired less than 10 years ago. But, still, even some of those early years, you're not always, like, for us anyways, locked in on what was happening. Obviously, the major storylines of the NBA of the time. We were watching our Spurs team. We know some of the stuff that was going on there. But just the individual storylines, the same way that, you just have access to those, and just, as a, older fan as well too, just the same way you can keep up with it. I mean, there is a little bit of a crossover where, you are like in that like high school range where, it's like, okay, you have some of, obviously your adult facilities, but you have more time to follow sports as well too. So it's all the time dedicated to sports, and you actually have the ability to retain all the knowledge and, keep up with what's going on and stuff. And then as you get busier, it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm only following, my team's, as well too. Like, we've had that struggle with college basketball a little bit. It's like, just watching Michigan this past year, and not necessarily, outside of the tournament, the, entirety of the sport as well too. It's like, oh, well, you don't have to watch every college basketball game, but that's just us personally as well too, trying to get, as much watching for the NBA stuff, the NBA draft stuff as well too. Because as much as you can do the YouTube deep dive, through the draft season, and that is, obviously can be informative as well too. And there is as much as like, oh, you can't learn anything about these guys on YouTube, it's like there is a separation from the YouTube super cuts of it all and then watching the games as well too. Like both evaluations are kind of good as well. And you say like, oh, YouTube is just a platform. Like it's not like scouts and GMs and stuff aren't watching super cuts of these players. So again, just because they're watching it on, Spectrum, it's like, oh, well, then, yeah, I guess you have stats and stuff that do enhance it a little bit. But again, the idea of watching a supercut of somebody is still something that, I'm sure scouts and real people are doing as well too. But they are also putting in the time to go to the games and hopefully, watch as much real game footage as you can as well. So, that's obviously, something that you got to do while the college sports is going on. And, not something that you can really catch up on. I mean, I guess you can, if you're recording everything and going back to the streaming services now and stuff like that. But just in theory, it's obviously much more difficult to be like, let me just catch up on all the college football games that happened in the, between the end of the college football season and the draft. Or just, let me keep an eye on as much stuff as possible while it's happening as well too. But I guess just, as a way to, just to help game plan, as we figure out how we're going to game plan college football, like we have to watch, how are we going to watch as many college football games as possible this year is already, in July, we have to start asking ourselves that question, I guess, as a fan. But, I guess the point was either way, maybe we go back and, revisit the career of Michael Beasley at some point and, just figure out what was going on there and, see some of the highlights, see where the, the twists and turns, could have gone as well too. I don't know what the initial just looking at the box score comp situation is for Michael Beasley, where again you're like, okay, talented, but maybe the stats and stuff never quite matched what that was. And there has been, I guess, a thing with the draft as well now too. Like Beasley never had the the role player run as well. Like he was always kind of that scorer. Like I want to throw a name like D'Angelo Russell out there for Michael Beasley, where it's like if he's not necessarily like, hitting as the lead guy, then it does become a little bit different his fit into the team and how he works in sort of a greater sense. Like you think of a guy like Jabari Smith, and I guess Jabari Smith wasn't the number 2 overall pick in the draft. But some of the other number 2, number 3 overall picks where it's like, okay, if he's not the lead guy in a team, there is maybe like a 3 and D, number 4, number 5 guy on the roster is sort of way that you can, make sense in the NBA, as well too. But I don't know, we go, I guess 2018, that's like the Luka draft and stuff. I guess the Edwards draft, that would have been Wiseman as well. Like, again, Michael Beasley was obviously better than Wiseman. Oh, Argentina pressuring the goal, chat. Hey, not able to get it to go way off to the right. Shanked it like he's Justin Tucker later in his career. Hey, yo. But what are we saying, for comparing for the draft for Michael Beasley? I don't know. He's a 1 of 1, I guess is what we'll see. We'll have to wait for the retrospective to go back and look at what's going on there. But I guess the point was shout out to Michael Beasley in the big 3 as well. We're a tentative keeping an eye on Miami 305 as our team right now. But, again, we saved the right to obviously, have San Antonio or Indianapolis be our team as well too, if they do add the team there. But right now that would be the move. The LA Riot is, obviously a bit of a name, that is for sure. But, it is definitely, got some cool logo work here as well. You can't deny that. Dwight Howard and Kostas Koufos. Wow, chat. The Twin Towers. Hey, yo. I guess LA Riot and the Twin Towers. Let's just say everything. But Jordan Crawford, co-captain, Billy Preston, Chris Allen, Devin Ebanks. Oh, and Nick Young. I thought, he's coaching. He's not playing. Hey, yo. Why is Nick Young not playing? He should definitely be out there. But it says LA Riot isn't just a team, it's a culture, it's a movement, it's a rebellion, a cultural takeover, and it's making its debut in the heart of Los Angeles this August. Oh, so this is the first year for this team, the LA Riot. Hey, yo. I feel like Dwight Howard was involved in thinking up this name, but I could be wrong. Who's to say? He is the captain of the team though, as well. And then shout out to Kostas Koufos. They didn't get this image. I don't think is right for Kostas Koufos. That's for sure. But when we was like Kostas Koufos versus Montrezl Harrell, I thought I was having a flashback to 2018 in the NBA. I was like, what is this, a Tuesday night? Am I watching Kings Rockets? Hey yo, nope, it's the big three. Hey yo, shout out to Ice Cube. He keeps the legends in our in our lives like that. But hey yo, speaking of that Angel Reese game, like we were talking about, the revenge is going well for Atlanta because it is 31-15 at the end of the first quarter. So fortunately, I guess that game's gonna get out of hand, and we can just not fortunately, but just for keeping an eye on the World Cup. I guess there's not going to be a conflicting interest there. Atlanta, I think, is going to take care of business this time. Oh, Chad, did I get it wrong last time? Was it Spain with the shot on goal? Hey, yo. I think it might have been Spain. They flipped sides of the fields. Oh, Chad, this is why we're bad soccer journalists. We're spreading false information. We're giving false hope to Argentina fans that are watching in the chat. We're like, Argentina's getting close. It's like, nope, we just actually are watching the game backwards. It is what it is. Spain, okay, Chad. Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, Argentina, they've kind of flipped the pressure of the game. And it's like, nope, actually, they've just flipped the field, and Spain is still applying pressure at this point. But 59-minute mark, and we still have no points on the board as well. I don't know what the substitution pattern is for a World Cup game late like this. Like Messi probably, I assume, would be out there for most of it. Is there like a, the Messi minutes you have to survive without him? Or, how that works compared to the NBA. But we do have a foul here as well. So, and I guess we haven't really had any penalty kick free throw situations. Hey, yo. I don't know exactly what the rules are in implementing those as well, too. Obviously, those are more rare than like a shooting foul in the NBA. But, still that could be something as well, too. Obviously, that, could obviously, provide some points on the board a little differently than just the normal, field of play type stuff. So I don't know, again, what they're sorting out here as well, too. Perfume Tiara is what they're saying. TNA Distinctia para Pelagira Ala Cara Diamia Opportunicia. So yeah, again, the Telemundo broadcast, we're just, IT is going to have to translate it for us to let us know, what they're saying here. Are they going to line up for a kick? Oh, chat. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Maybe we see. I don't think it's going to be Yamal that is going to be lined up here, but I could be wrong. But they've got the guys kind of lined up now across the field. This is the non-soccer fan figure out what's happening. Hey, yo, it's just like when an NBA fan's like, are they shooting a free throw? How's it going? Maybe they need to have a rule where like you shoot the free throw from the spot where you got fouled. Is that how this works in soccer, or do you get a kick at the goal? Oh, blocked it right away, Chet, on the front line, and then blocked it out of bounds on the shot on goal on the rebound attempt as well. So I guess you have to give Argentina the credit for the defense that they played there. I don't know, did he just get yellow carded though? Was he being too aggressive? Or maybe they're just holding up the sign for the substitution. Is maybe what is happening, Chad. Hey, yo. Welcome to what happens when you don't know anything about soccer, I guess, is what works. We're trying to lock in for the last half of the game. Can we do this? Can we actually figure out what is happening in the sport in time to in time before the World Cup ends? Hey, yo, learning soccer before it's too late, I guess, is essentially the plot of the rest of the second half here. And, can we, I guess, how much of the information can we retain for the next time as well, too? Apparently, a lot of the stuff from the World Cup last time didn't carry over. But, that is, it's like the Olympics, just all in the moment. You have to, every 4 years, you have to regain the knowledge to become an expert in, gymnastics and stuff like that. Like, oh, yeah, I didn't even know anything about badminton. But I'm locked in now. A couple of watches and we're good to go. But, soccer, I guess, a little bit like that as well. And maybe, I don't know if we'll get as tempted to watch some of the soccer stuff as we are with, like, even baseball as well, too. Like, we have been tempted to start diving into the sport a little bit more. Oh, that's definitely got to be a foul there. Hey, yo. I don't know. Yamal, Chad, is the one getting pressured at this point. And obviously, he's had sort of, would you say, the mental advantage over Mbappe. Again, can't do too much of a breakdown there, but you just look at the recent matchups, and I was seeing a post that was showing that Spain has just and Yamal specifically in some of the club matches has gotten the win over Mbappe in like maybe the last 5 or 6 runs that they've had against each other. So there does just have to be some sort of mental factor there as well that he does have. Maybe going up against the legend Messi. I don't know if this is the first time they've ever played or not, but there could be maybe a little bit of a factor there that could be getting involved as well. And I'm sure Spain, has other good players around Yamal. I saw looking at some of the ESPN stats there. I don't even think he's their leading goal getter for the World Cup, but he is obviously the main name guy as well, and maybe kind of still that same like star, rely on him, in the end of game scenarios, like maybe Argentina would do Messi as well too. But there, another shot on goal. Oh, the goalie with the stop right in front of the goal, chat. Hey, yo, the soccer ball, the football, the stop hit right in front of him and then spun backwards to the right and outside the goal. I mean, if that doesn't spin so far to the right, obviously that starts to get dangerous because he definitely loses track of that there for a second. So the height and the way that trailed off definitely worked out. But I mean, that could have hit that, hey, yo, Chad, that could have hit the pitch and spun back in as well. So definitely getting fortunate there. That's one of the better shots they've had on goal because that was right at the goalie, right in the middle of the goal. A lot of the shots they have had, a couple of them, the goalie hasn't really gotten to it. It's just been sort of, kind of curved off to the mark as, just hasn't gotten into the space. Okay, the kick from the corner definitely, got into the group, into the middle, but not able to score. The headbutt off to the left, chat. Hey, yo. So Argentina definitely with the nerve-wracking defensive stand here for Spain, putting pressure on him. I guess that's like the pay attention to the inbounder play in basketball because Yamal off of the corner kick, they kick back to him and he almost gets the look there. They try again, another corner kick. Can Argentina change possession? I guess is, a question here. They just kick it back out here as well. I don't know about that move from the Argentina guy. Again, what do I know? But, they have maybe a little bit of a chance there to retain possession. I guess, again, you have to obviously, work it out through the Spain defense there. And you're definitely deep in your own territory. So, they did reset the field position pretty good here. Spain kicked it back down to their goalie. So now they're playing, a little bit more in the midfield. And I guess it's kind of, neutralize that play at this point a little bit. Spain just immediately flips back down the field as well too. I don't know, again, what can I say about Argentina's defense? But just the time spent on each side of the field, like Spain is just easily, going right into the last third of the field area each time. So definitely some easy change of possessions here. But I don't know, the corner kicks, chat, they may be a little bit of a tense situation here as well. We do have another one for Spain. Right in the middle. Oh, a headbutt out for Argentina. Headbutt for Spain. Hey, yo, double headbutt. Whoa. Okay, Yamal, chat, the crossover back into the middle. A headbutt stopped by the goalie. Oh, chat. Yamal had the crossover. He had the assist. And Spain, once again, another good shot on goal attempt. So Argentina goalie starting to get an MVP of the day territory as well too here. Those last 2 shot attempts on goal, you got to give him credit. Those have definitely been, pretty clutch stops there for Argentina. So now that he's covered it back up, does that mean he can, keep possession, kick it back out? They've kind of switched this up a little bit. Oh, we have an Argentina guy down. Hey, yo, I didn't see anybody, crazy flopping on the last time as well. Okay, chat. We can get Adrian Brody in this biopic as Lionel Messi, and we can get Andrew Garfield in this biopic as whoever that last guy was. I don't know who he was. I don't know if he's gonna earn an Andrew Garfield level star in the biopic, but maybe Andrew Garfield could play him. Just we'll see how many other actor comparisons we can get cast in this game here. before it ends up. Okay, we may have a legit little. Oh no, as we say it, he's up. He's going. Okay, Chad. Once again, they get us every time. They get us every time. It is what it is. We're too nice. We actually believe these guys are hurt. We're used to basketball culture. We're used to football culture where pain means something. Where you play through pain. That's actually, that's the opposite. They say, what's the main difference between American football and soccer? It's playing through pain. It's American football. You play through pain. You literally, you melt your brain to play football. In other soccer, European soccer, what do you do? The minute you tweak an ankle, you go, you fall down and you complain and you cry and you do all those different things. That's the main difference that I can think of. Otherwise it is pretty similar. There's competitiveness, teamwork, all the different stuff. Right wing, I think, is something that maybe was a crossover there at one point, but center, I guess maybe is another crossover as well. But center may be the one crossover for every sport. If we're being honest, every sport just has a center. And do they actually water the grass in the middle of the game? Hey, yeah. Oh, okay. Celebrity spotting number 4. We got Jay-Z and Beyonce. I guess 4 and 5. Shout out. Fresh off of course, I almost said, why did I almost say fresh off the Fresh Prince live show? Fresh off of the anniversary, what do you say, anniversary shows from New York. We did see that somebody posted those, chat. So we got our wish, we got our dream coming true. We were hoping that somebody would throw those videos of the concert up on YouTube, and I think they did get done. So we can go ahead and, watch those. I saw the Blueprint one. I got to see if we can go find the Reasonable Doubt one. I'm not going to... Is it one of those things where it's never enough? It's like we get the Blueprint one. It's like, oh, actually, I wanted to go to the Reasonable Doubt one. But if we had the Reasonable Doubt one, it'd be like, oh, I want the Blueprint one. It's probably just how it would work out. But, you want to see both of them. And I guess there was the Extra Innings show as well, too, which is just a whole other, legit show that he had there. So we need to, get on the YouTube and see what is going on after this. We'll be throwing on a couple of Jay-Z concerts after this. Definitely catching up with what is going on there, mainly focusing on the, because there's probably a couple other things we can catch up that was going on with the concert, but mainly focusing on the tracks that were already released. Hey, he had the Roots Picnic freestyle that was definitely interesting, and maybe there was another one there as well too early on, but then there was I think maybe it was the Extra Innings freestyle where it was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to maybe, I don't know what's going on there. But, again, celebrating the album discography that he had in, the Blueprint and the Reasonable Doubt. Obviously, those are iconic, so we can't wait to cue the videos up for those there. But anyway, 0-0, chat. 70 minutes at the 70-minute mark here for the World Cup. Greatness on the line for Messi and Yamal at this point, though. Again, I don't know if either of them... I guess Yamal has probably been the more impactful, and I guess, again, that's just us, like we're saying, watching sort of the end of these Argentina games. I don't know if throughout the game, like, Messi is in that, is he just controlling every part of the game at this point in his career? Like, he's obviously still, top-level player, leading, up near leading the entire World Cup in goals. Obviously, up until this last consolation game where they decided not to play defense, Mbappe now is leading the tournament in goals. But Messi was up there as well, too. And I think Mbappe also broke the all-time record for Messi. So if Messi, and I guess maybe PKs and stuff, like whatever happens at the end, that stuff can factor into it as well. But, maybe Messi has to wait for a couple of those to get his record back. But that is an interesting record. And you do, I guess, have the potential for Mbappe as well, too, to play more World Cups after this. Like, obviously, the, Messi timeline is a little bit different, for the next couple of cups. But Argentina does have maybe one of their feistiest offensive possessions going here as well, too. Just in terms of them, at least passing it back and forth to each other. A good pass out in front to somebody on the left. Hey, yo. And at least they're able to maintain it as well, too, and just get it back on the other side of the field. So they have the soccer. Okay, they're back across half field. They're going the wrong way. The Spain defense is definitely, Definitely making it difficult. Okay, we've got somebody on the right breaking free. Back into the middle. Oh, Spain. Spain turns it over. Spain stole it. So that was the fear. I got the minute, passed it back in the middle for the shot on goal attempt, or, trying to make an aggressive play to get there. Spain's going to step in, and Argentina, unfortunately, not able to retain possession there. That's why, again, the long kick to the outside, I guess, was as impressive as it was. Definitely, was that the longest play of the day for Argentina? Okay, a fast break attempt. We got 4-on-1. We've got somebody trying to cross over, and it's not working there as well. That is one thing I don't know if I wish, but it is funnier that I guess the idea of just dribbling pause into traffic is definitely different in soccer versus the NBA. I'm not saying it's okay in soccer to just hey, let's just take this into 4 defensive players and then get this stolen. You still want to maintain possession, but even in the NBA, if you dribble it into 4 guys, if you dribble it into the entire defense, pause. Hey yo. I can't think of a better way to phrase it, but if you do that, that you're probably just gonna get subbed out at this point. Is that Yamal taking a half-court shot attempt, chat? Hey, yo. Speaking of all-star games, Dame Lillard all-star game attempt right there for Yamal. Not really getting close. Spain, getting a little tense at this point. I don't know if this starts to get to that point in the game where maybe if you are Spain, because like we're saying, Argentina has been so good in these last moments, and that's just been Messi for, the last couple of World Cups here at this point, being the sort of, in the soccer sense, obviously the soccer miracle worker that he has been, is this the point of the game where Argentina would maybe want to okay, we need to be up 2-0 or something like that at this point for, having a little bit of comfortability there. And there was, I guess that one game, was it recently that they came back from 2-0 or 1-0 in the Argentina run there, and they scored 2 in a row? But I think Argentina did have that game where it was 2-0 in around the 70-minute mark, and then still was able to, pull out the win there. Pause. Let's see if we can find, was there a 3-2 situation here recently? There was a 3-1. Oh yeah, it was against Egypt. It was against Egypt. They were up way late in that game, 2-0. And then Argentina did manage to storm back and win, obviously over Switzerland 3-1, and then the late win over England as well too, 2-1. So again, maybe Spain would be looking at this point in the game, 75-minute mark, thinking you won a couple of goals on the board, just in case Messi's. I mean, you won a couple of goals on the board anyways, but maybe you're starting to get that extra nervous of, oh, this is the time where Argentina does the magical thing that they always do. Hey, Mike, he can't give Mahomes any life in the 4th quarter. The minute you give him a drive, he's going to go down the field and score a touchdown. So, you can't give Messi that 4th quarter there, or Brady. We were talking about Brady earlier. You just can't give that great player that lifeline opportunity for them to be in the game, because obviously we know time and time again that more often than not, that great player is going to seize that moment. And that's obviously, it can be a little bit of afterwards as well too, because they seize the moment. The greatness is obviously, achieved because of that. But it is one of those things as well too, where, you can rely on track record in a sense and go, okay, we've been here. If you give Brady the opportunity, he's going to take it, and time and time again he delivers. Another stop for the Argentina goaltender. We're looking for a foul there, the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Maybe there is a Canadian, maybe that is the soccer. I guess now we're doing 90s international basketball takes. I thought I was going to break ground. I was like, maybe there is a correlation. The international play, the soccer, the flopping. Maybe I'm figuring it out. But that's exactly what they were saying in the 90s about those guys. It's like why Dirk wasn't the number 1 pick overall in the draft. Because they were like, oh, Dirk, he's European. He's not tough. He can't play in the league. And obviously, we know that's not true. So, we probably should maybe think a little bit through that take before we say it. But I was like, okay, maybe Shea is, getting influence from the European sport. Oh, another shot on goal. Argentina with another stop. Did it go back, or did it go around the basket, or am I just messed up my perception here of the game? I also called it the basket, not the goal. Chat, hey, yo. The MVP performance continues for the Argentina goalie. The what do you say, the accuracy, the shot attempts for Spain have definitely gotten better as the game increased, because that was a good attempt there for sure. That one was definitely going in, pause, and wasn't able to quite corral it but was still able to get the stop. Again, some of those have been close. Like, obviously, the corral is different. You get the hands on it. Now it's spinning around. You've got nothing to, no ability to, get that rebound if you need to. But, he has been able to knock it out of bounds those times. It has been able to work out for him here. Oh, we're getting the ref talking to one of the Argentina players. So somebody was definitely doing something there that they shouldn't have. We're not getting a yellow card or anything like that, but we definitely got a stern talking to. How many stern? Do you get 6 stern talking to before 1 yellow card? Is that how it works? They should make that an NBA rule. It's like, okay, we get three stern talkings to and then 1 foul. And then every third argument with the ref, you get a foul. I guess that is kind of just, there's probably like an unwritten technical, obviously, situation there, with the signing technical fouls and stuff, but we got a finger point from the ref. We got a legit in the, you should not be doing that situation. Hey, there is definitely maybe a lot more finger pointing in the soccer referee lane, I guess, maybe than there is for the NBA. I'm not sure, but Spain definitely, trying to make use of the corner kicks here as well. They're back out to midfield. Okay, reset for Spain, back out to the goalie here. Argentina, not pressuring at all as well. Again, you can't say the most aggressive defensive strategy from Argentina. Maybe just not the most aggressive strategy overall. And that maybe is just the, do you say the hesitancy? I don't want to say the fear. I don't want to disrespect Argentina. Is that the fear of them going up against a team like Spain? Because again, their defense in the middle of the field has been really good. The couple of times they have been able to push it back over to Spain's side, but there is not a lot of ball pressure from the Argentina defenders. They are kind of sitting back and obviously just kind of playing their zones, letting Spain get near the basket. There is is Spain going into clock control mode here as well? They are being way more passive on this possession. Maybe that is Argentina's defense slightly turning up a little bit. Okay, they've tried to find a lane to get through. A kick way off at this point. So maybe you lean it. I don't know. I guess you can't lean into their aggression, but they are, Spain is aggressive. Spain will take the long distance opportunity. So maybe you can be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that Spain can pull the trigger early on a shot attempt. I don't know. And the goalie has been good. You don't want to isolate him too much, but 80 minutes, chat. Hey, 10 to go. I don't know. And it is interesting having a championship event in the middle of the day as well, too. Obviously, the international timeline of it all. Oh, chat! We got a head. Was that a headbutt? I don't know, but it was another close one. Cover up by the goalie this time from Argentina. Throws it way out ahead, right back to the Spain goalie. And now we got a Spain guy on the ground, chat. Hey, you knew it was happening. They had to flop at some point. We've had too many consecutive minutes here of play. Somebody had to go down. But we almost had another. Oh, that was okay. We got a shove there. We got a shove from the Argentina guy. There's some legitness. So, that one is, lay on the ground for a couple seconds for sure. But, Chad, I think the Argentina goalie might be adding some flair to some of his saves. I don't know if he's the most athletic, flair goalie. I don't know if that dive was 100% necessary. It's like he caught the goal and then just dived to the ground to be like, oh, this is an incredible save. But it kind of was as well too, so you do have to give him credit. But still, there was like a 20% exaggeration on that. It did seem like. But here we go, Spain again. We've got now them playing a little bit further up this time than they were last 81 minutes. They're gonna maybe if they end this in regulation here, maybe they are able to do the Argentina situation and score late in the game. Can we get Yamal on like a late game winner type of situation? It would probably be off of the corner kicks, like we've been seeing earlier. Oh, a yellow card. Is that against Argentina or against Spain? We don't know which way. They need a little thing on the graphic. We have that in the NFL. If you get a flag in the NFL, once they announce the penalty, they do like the yellow graphic over the team, and they're like, okay, holding is on Detroit. Hey, But They need to do that when they throw the yellow card. They need to like light up the score graphic for the team that gets the yellow card, not to give them production designs 10 minutes before the tournament is over. But, again, there obviously are soccer games that are going to be going throughout this as well, too. I assume Telemundo's got a couple of broadcast rights for some soccer games there. But it does look like it was on Argentina. Again, I guess it doesn't give him like a kick or anything. So, more so, kind of getting Argentina a little reset here as well. They do have some offensive possessions here, but they are kicking it back toward their own goal. So not doing a good job of advancing. And Spain right away changes possession. We get a little bit of chaos here for the Spain offense, but they pull it back out. Pause. They're being conservative. Okay, chat. Like we're saying, we're doing our best. I guess maybe a little traditional for the Rem and Sam Pod live stream. We only have the World Cup once every 4 years, so you're not to say that we're trying to use that as an excuse. But we won't have to maybe learn about soccer for every Sunday going forward after this. But Messi finally got the soccer that time. I don't even what the soccer ball. Hey, got the football? I guess it is the football. We just got to get out of our American brains and just call it the football. It is what it is. Messi actually got the football that time and was going down the right side, but unfortunately, lost it for Argentina there. So maybe these last 6 minutes, this is where Messi really goes crazy. I guess we should probably update here where we were at, because, we're at the 84-minute mark here for the World Cup. The World Cup, I guess, is the one event where the ESPN is kind of synced up with our live stream, because for the NBA, make no mistake, it was spoiling everything the entire time. It was like 2 minutes ahead all season. I guess the NFL is a little bit like that as well too. But hey, you know what? World Cup, we'll take the no spoilers here as well. So I guess we can't jinx it. I was about to say we are going to get extra time. I guess that's not guaranteed. There could be a last minute situation here that does happen, and Spain has had the aggressiveness throughout to to pull that off as well too. But we do have to lock in, chat. Again, it is the World Cup. We do have to lock in. We do have to watch. We do have to do our best. So we will be trying to follow along here and see what is going on. We're down to 5 minutes, and maybe again, if you're watching with us, hopefully that makes it a little bit better as well too. I guess speaking of Atlanta Dream versus Chicago Sky, as that game goes into halftime, it's 16 points. It's like something that we're familiar with. Hey, let me just peek back over at the basketball game real quick and think about old times. But hey, we've got Messi again. Is that Messi again with the steal? Is this a second wind for the legend? Hey, he had to wait. He's like, if I can play out 86 minutes of this game in the last 4 minutes, I can just see if I can just crazy score a goal. Like, how quickly can Messi score a goal here? Okay, they're showing the momentum situation that we were looking at earlier. There was a spike, I guess, for Argentina around minute 75 that maybe we're not aware of, but again, it does confirm that Spain has continued to dominate the second half the way that they did the first. So, like we're saying, this is just the Messi formula, the Argentina formula for this entire tournament. Maybe not necessarily the better team, but you still are able to find yourself in these games, and as long as it's close at the end of the game, that's Chet! Right off to the right! Right off to the right for Spain. That time the goalie wasn't able to get there because it was to the right, but hey, if that had tucked right inside that corner, I don't know. He was in a pretty good spot. He was in a pretty good spot. If he had been able to actually kick that back left, that would have been crazy. Oh, he kind of shanked it, chat. He kind of shanked it. He kicked it right into the ground. Is this Andrew Garfield again? Okay, shout out Garfield. He kicked it right into the ground. And then, spun off to the right that time. And he was moving from left to right, so to be able to get that and kick that back to his left obviously would have been a crazy highlight as well, too, if he had been able to actually pull that off. Okay, we do have Spain on Argentina's side, but, immediately Spain just right up the court. Right up the field, navigates for the change possession. Oh, and then they kicked it across the court, and the Argentina guy maybe had a little bit of an angle on it, but wasn't quite able to get there. Spain maintains possession. 2.5 minutes left, I guess, plus whatever extra time they throw on the clock here as well. Spain now down to the left side for Argentina here. Back out to the middle. Yamal hanging out on the right. They haven't gone back, his way to set up like a pass or something. They, keep going. Number 17 on the left. Seems like they're making the play that way. But Messi, isn't Messi over on the left as well, too? I don't know if you want to give Messi like the fast break opportunity at the end of the game here. Okay, back to the right corner a little bit. They got into the middle, and then Argentina kicked it back out, but they did set up the shot. Yamal, okay, Yamal, ISO. Here we go. Is he going to try to win the game? A minute left. He definitely was ISOing there for a second, trying to, but not quite able to get into the middle of the field enough for the shot attempt. Number 17 as well, too, trying to ISO. Nothing doing. Argentina gets the change of possession and then just kicks it right out of bounds. Okay, so Spain will get it back. 90 seconds left, and I guess you do have to account for the extra time as well. If they score before the 90-minute mark, do they put extra time? I guess you still get the extra time anyways, which goes for regulation, right? So if the game ends at the 97-minute mark, 1-0, then it ends, right? So yeah, I mean, we should know these rules by now for, watching an entire World Cup tournament. It is what it is. But, you're just watching the game at work. You're like, okay, it keeps going. They score. Oh, it's over now. And then they won. And I guess they're moving on. So, you just keep it as basic as possible. It is what it is. But this time the shot over is too high. Yeah, that shot attempt was too far. It is what it is. He's trying to go over the entire defense that time. It's not going to happen. You'd have to put a little touch on that one. Pause. And kind of lopped it in there. But both fan bases kind of equally as tense right now. So, and that shows you, again, Spain obviously has the momentum, but Argentina has the track record. Like we were saying earlier, they have the history of being the team with the heroic late wins. So neither team is as confident. If you're Argentina, you're like, well, clearly, we're not gonna outdo Spain in this game, but we can't count ourselves out. And if you're Spain, you're like, well, we can't score here. There is that opportunity if we leave them around. So you see when they do the shots to the crowd for the TV audience here, when they pan to the crowd, both fan bases right now are obviously, like we're saying, equally tense. Okay, are we going to get a foul on Argentina? Maybe we don't need a graphic that time. We are able to figure it out. Okay, 4 minutes of extra time here for the end of the game as we hit the 90-minute mark. So I guess, I don't know exactly how they determine all the extra time stuff. It was a pretty cleanly played half. We did have a couple of times there where a guy, went down with a flop. But for the most part, I would say it hasn't been, like, overly crazy. Are we under 5 for this game? We might be right at 5. So maybe the extra time takes us over, maybe we start getting into normal soccer game territory. But it has seemed to be kind of a cleaner game played here for the most part. Okay, Argentina now moving around. Oh, is that Messi, chat? Oh, Messi now with the flop. Oh, chat, Messi in his he has to do something. He has to do something. He's like, I've gotten a couple of possessions this time. I haven't been able to do much. Oh, chat, the Spain teammates are helping Messi up off the turf. Hey, yo. I guess, is that the guy that knocked him over? Oh, chat, Messi. Oh, no, Messi just ran right into him. Oh, chat, Messi. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is watching this going, see? It is possible for a legend to get away with this. Hey, yo, is he going to get a kick? Is he going to get a kick out of this? I don't know if it's going to be, a good attempt. Hey, yo, chat. Is this the ref favoritism that the other fan bases were complaining about? For the NBA, we do have some familiarity with these storylines. This was definitely something that was obviously hurting the league, or, a part of the league this year anyways. By the time we were getting to playoff time, I don't know if it was hurting the league. I don't think it hurt the Spurs when they gave up their 30-point lead, but, that time, that definitely was, that did seem like Messi just went right over to that guy and just ran into him. It is what it is. Shout out Messi. Shot on goal for Argentina. Covered up by the Spanish goalie. I guess we should say the Spain goalie. And, thrown right back out. Fast break opportunity for Spain. We've got 3-on-3, 3-on-4, shot on goal, blocked by Argentina once again. Hey, yo. So the Argentina goal refuses to cover anything up. He just smacks it right up. He's like Dwight Howard, chat. Hey, speaking of Dwight Howard again. Oh, and we got a red card. Oh, we got a red card at minute 92. Hey, yo, chat, the drama. We said the drama has to happen later in the games for Argentina. And here we go. We've got Messi drawing fouls on one end. We've got Argentina getting red carded on the other. Oh, man. Oh, man. So is that like a multiple foul situation, or is that the aggressiveness of the foul? Oh, chat, the guy from Spain was definitely, getting acrobatic there. But no, is that Fernandez? Is that his name? Fernandez definitely kind of undercut him on the kick. And yeah, we have like a spin here for Spain. I almost want to say that the spin was like somehow it was over dramatic, but somehow it turned into a good landing as well too. It was like a stuntman move from the Spain guy there. Almost, it wasn't even a flop at that point. It was like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. Hey, yo. So, shout out to the stunt work there. Maybe we have a post soccer career for whoever that guy is. But you have to give him credit for the way he landed there as well. We do have the medical guy out with the bag here as well. The goalie, are we getting the goalie confronting Messi? Are we getting some words being exchanged? Hey, so that's going to use up about all the extra time right there. I don't know, was that a move for Argentina? Maybe this was designed. Again, I don't know about the soccer and the extra time adding rule, the rules for adding extra time. But maybe this is some sort of play here by Argentina. Obviously, they are going to add minutes back onto the clock, so it's not just like, oh, let's just run the game clock back out. But maybe there is some momentum timeout stuff here, but, you are obviously, having the red card as well, too. I don't know what the guy is doing with his medical bag there, but, the cooler, he's got his Yeti cooler out there with his Band-Aids, but he is dipping into that to work on this guy here. I don't know exactly what, the medical procedure that they're doing is, but it is taking a second, I guess, for them to sort this out. Okay, here we go. We restart. Messi settled down. Everybody settled back down. We're good to go. A couple more minutes for regulation here. See if Spain can use this to their advantage. So they will start the possession. They are, gonna be a decent place in Argentina field position here. I guess they don't have like the extra time for the extra time at this point. I guess it's just 4 minutes from whenever, that guy kind of started, going down to the ground there at that point. But, we did have, I guess, a little Argentina drama for the first time in the game. Definitely the most exciting sequence that they as a team has had so far. But we do have Yamal now trying to ISO again. So a little hero ball, I guess, for our guy Yamal in some of these plays. Again, obviously he is one of their lead guys, so we can't blame him too much. But he has been getting a little drive heavy on some of these outside shots. And I guess nothing against, obviously again it's Yamal, but I don't know, him from the corners, the way that he's driving in doesn't seem like it would be, always the most effective way if he's just going straight into the middle as well. But we got another kick to the shin here for Argentina. So the aggressiveness has definitely turned up for Argentina. We're getting yellow cards all over the place at the end of this game. Are we going to get another kick here for Spain? Is this one going to be more in the middle of the field this time? Okay, chat. So this one might have a little bit of an angle. Oh, did we just lose the background? Hey, what's happening to the ESPN? Oh, they're just updating real quick. Okay, +7 for the minutes. I guess they're just tracking where we're actually at, because we are actually at +7 at this point. Argentina with the red card recently. Okay, they're updated, keeping us updated. Here we go. We're getting a kick for Spain. I guess everybody on their feet. Chat, do we have to stand up with the crowd? We might have to here. Here we go. Can Yamal, is he going to end this, or is he just like sitting there encouraging the guy. Is this like a kickoff scenario where somebody has to hold the football? Oh no, he's just game planning with him, I think. I don't think he was the one that got kicked. So I don't think he'll be the one kicking. Is it an either or situation? Is this the confusion chat? Hey yo. It's like the double punt returner for the NFL. You don't know which guy's gonna return. Yeah, one guy fakes fair, catches it, but actually the other guy returns the punt up the sideline. We don't know which way the kick is gonna happen. And there's a third guy behind Yamal, so maybe they both like kind of go to make the kick, but then he kind of goes into the middle, pause, and is the one that actually contacts. Who's to say? But I don't know how creative you can get with these plays here, or if it has to be the guy. Okay, Yamal with the kick. Oh, Chad, the block. Here we go. An all-time performance by the Argentina goalie. Oh, what a kick from Yamal. He had it there, Chad. He had it in the right corner. I think it would have spun in if the goalie didn't get his hands on that. Oh, what a block. A great, obviously Yamal almost stepping up for the moment there when the opportunity presents itself. But what a stop by Argentina. Is that it? Is that it for regulation, chat? Hey, yo, so does that mean we go into a kickoff scenario now at this point? Or do we go back into more time? Is it just a timeout and they go and play more time and then they're back? We have to look at soccer overtime rules. Hey, yo. We have to double check here. Okay, what happens? Hey, yo, should we be doing this in the finals? What happens in the Odyssey? No, not that. At the end of the Odyssey, what happens if you don't show up for jury? What is this? What is this? Is this tied to us? Or is this just in general? Hey, yo, it says, what happens if there are two players that tie for a golden boot? What happens at the end of the Odyssey? What happens if you don't show up for jury duty? And what happens to Nikki at the end of Obsession? What happens to Helena after the Trojan War, chat? Hey, yo, what happens in soccer if you get a red card? Then what happens if you file your taxes late? Okay, just a little update there, I guess. What happens in FIFA after extra time? FIFA, what happens after extra time? Okay, let's see what it says here. If the match is tied after 30 minutes of extra time. Oh, 30 minutes of extra time. Okay, so they do get up to overtime. I guess that explains how you get into the hundreds of minutes at some point in some of those games, because it wouldn't just be then constantly adding, it's like, okay, we've needed to add 30 minutes of extra time in this game. So you do, I guess, just keep playing it out until somebody wins and then go into the kickoff after that. So during a penalty shootout, the referee, they hold a coin toss. A team the team that successfully converts the most kicks out of 5 wins the match. Okay, so we do have some regulation to play out here to see if Spain again can close us out in regular time. Because can we basically say that Argentina is not going to win this in regular time at this point? Or again, is it going to be a crazy one-play scenario? Because this is still very much a Spain dominant game. Spain basically dominated the second half even more than the first half, if we're just going by the momentum chart here as well. But hey, yo, Chad, I guess we still got a game. So stay tuned. The World Cup 0-0, and I guess in some ways, obviously the restart, we still have no idea what's gonna happen. But Yamal, Messi, chat, the legendary legacies are on the line. We need somebody to write the outro for us. Get Mark Jackson in here to do outro. Can we just start stealing his outro text? Mama, there goes that man. Okay, we'll be right back. There we go. All right, chat, we're back, and we are locked into the fact that they did switch sides of the field again. So we do know that Spain is now going the opposite direction. Argentina did not, once again, flip the momentum of the game. So Spain, I'm just still same old dominant performance, keeping the possession on their side of the field. But, again, with the extra time, this is where Argentina, this is where Messi excels right here. So this is where they need to start getting nervous if you're Spain, or, locking in as well, too. Is this Messi again? Somebody else is flying into Argentina, guys, as well. I guess anytime anybody just runs into, or a Spain guy, anytime anybody just runs into somebody from Spain, we assume it's Messi at this point. But yeah, it's looking like this is part of the Argentina play as well, too. He just ran into that guy with an elbow flying into that guy's face as well. I don't know if there is a penalty going around either way. I think they're just letting him go, keep playing. But Argentina's game plan here in minute 85 plus has definitely been to, increase the physicality of some of the defensive opportunities. But at least they're going to get an opportunity here. Oh, chat. The goalie just kicks it straight out of bounds for Argentina. I mean, it's been a great game for the goalie. You can't, obviously he's saved him on multiple occasions. He's had a great game. But again, offensively, they just have not been able to maintain anything. That's like a 3-and-out right away. It's like interception, a fumble on the first possession after having a, great defensive game, great defensive stop. Oh, a breakaway for Spain. He broke away, chat. He broke right past the goal, went too far to the right, kicked it back into the middle. Argentina, able to slow him down there. Oh, chat, that was close. He got past the defender. I guess, would that have been an offside or something? Oh, chat! Another save by the Argentina goalie. That one was getting a little riskier because he had a Spain defender actually sneak in behind him that time. Pause. He hasn't had anybody from Spain in a spot where if they had gotten the rebound, they have been able to kick it in. Everybody's been taking sort of the longer shots on goal. But this time he does have like a Spain guy kind of right there as well too that could have potentially got that one. Hey, yo. So again, defensively he's definitely been superior. Not Kevin Love with the outlet passes as we saw earlier, but has definitely, been much more reliable with the defensive stops. That is for sure. So yeah, chat, that headbutt right there to try to get that in. Hey, yo. So that's what they need to try to get Yamal attacking. They try to, set Yamal up on the outside and then have him initiate and try to, again, ISO dribble in. Pause. But they need to have, people passing to Yamal. Yamal get the quick pass in, or, again, obviously, like they maybe need to do, Yamal on the outside passing back in for the shot on goal as well. I don't know again, we can't read the Telemundo stats, but whatever it is, it's 16. Spain has 16 and 11 of them, and Argentina has 0 and 0 of them. So I think it might be shot on goal attempts and things like that. Just, Argentina has not been any sort of threat here to Spain to get any points when it comes to, just generating random offense. But, we keep comparing Messi to Mahomes. And I guess there was a little bit of the sort of changeover over the last couple of years where their defense did become sort of the better unit in the regular season. But they weren't necessarily to the point where it's like their defense was more reliable to score 100%. Where, it's almost like Argentina, again, they just can't score in the 120 minutes here. He's like, we're just going to have to totally try to defend. Can the goalie totally defend this out the entire game? And then Messi get, a couple of those penalty kicks, or, they get a couple of those penalty kicks at the end of the game and end up winning it. Almost like 2000 Ravens with Trent Dilfer. It's like, can we just get Trent Dilfer off the field? Can we get Ray Lewis back on the field and maybe we'll score more touchdowns with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed? It's like we won our defense out there. We're going to score more points with them than they were with our offense. They don't even want to try to score in the 90 minutes here. Just or in the 120 minutes. Just totally play it out. I guess, maybe wear Spain down and then pause and then, see if you can, like we're saying, win in the kickoff scenario. But this is tough, chat. We got another. Oh, chat! There it is! The Argentina goalie falls down. Oh, Chet! Oh, the refs! Are they going to step in and save Messi once again? Oh, Chet, we have no idea how this is going to play out or what's going on. Maybe the goalie is going to save them by the flop here. I don't know. Pause. But that time the goalie did play a little too far up. Just missed the save attempt. Maybe getting a little too aggressive. And this time, same scenario where, like we were saying, that guy attacking off from the side was kind of sneaking in a couple times there. He had the headbutt the last time, not quite able to get it to go. But this time, same attacking angle. And when it ricochets off the goalie, the Spain defender is able to get it. And that's what we were saying earlier as well, too, about that, about the fact that it was a lot of ricochet block attempts versus it getting covered up and it getting, secured and ending the possession. I mean, that's an NBA thing for sure. You have to get the rebound to end the possession. It's not just about forcing the missed opportunity. You can have defensive stops all day, but if you don't get the rebound, you actually got to change possession at some point. But, and again, not to be, obviously he's had a great game here up until this point, and it does look like that they will probably not count the goal as well too. It has not been counted yet. I'm peeking over to the ESPN. It has not been counted over there. And, I guess there is the potential here medically. We do have to see, will the goalie actually be hurt as well too for Argentina. See, the problem is the other players for, the other players on the soccer field just are, faking injuries the entire game. If the goalie actually gets injured, now we don't know if it's real or not, but there may actually be something there that they are looking at. But yeah, Chad, that was the game plan for Spain, getting perfectly executed there, continually applying pressure. Took them obviously 98 minutes to be able to, work in to be able to finally get that goal to go. But that is, probably something that they can probably try to repeat here as well too for the remainder of the ending time. Because like we're saying, they are not having to worry about playing defense themselves. So you imagine that the offensive pressure is going to continue to apply here for the rest of the time. There is a little substitution, I guess, being made for Spain here that, we do have to note as well. A couple substitutions, it looks like. So I don't know if that's, is that just normal game plan stuff? Or we the energy point in the game where you have to start, making these decisions as well too? I think Spain is probably a little bit more in like the OKC Thunder territory of things where it's like they have the depth, they have the rotation maybe. So they're probably not, I'm just guessing. They're probably not super worried about it there. But Argentina goalie does get it down the field for him. Again, Argentina obviously not able to corral it in, as you would expect. Trying to kick it to Messi, so I don't know, maybe they just need to kick it a little shorter as well, too. Every time the Argentina goalie, they have these change possession opportunities, he just bombs it down the field to Messi, and then kicks it right into, like, 4 Spain guys. So maybe just, like, a simpler start, get the possession rolling with, like, a point guard, and then have them sort of bring the football up the field that way. But nope, Spain change possession. They'll probably go back to the left here. It looks like. Oh, we've got a middle attempt for Spain. It does get kicked back out by Argentina, not by the goalie this time, so not having to worry about that there. Messi, he gets a solo opportunity. I think he just took a shot from like 50 yards away, and I think that there is a penalty as well too, so it really wouldn't have counted there. But the replay is going to send us back to the goal replay here to see what happened. Oh, just a quick cut, I guess. Nothing too crazy. They don't have enough time to break down what is going on, but they tried anyways. So, shout out for it. But okay, here we are back to the left side, kind of working. But again, it's been sort of middle out to the left versus, left back into the middle. But Yamal this time, a kick. Oh, setting up for the headbutt opportunity in for the goal. But this time it goes to the Argentina defender. I started to curve a little bit too much inside. I don't even know if that was Yamal as well too. But whoever had that pause for the curve had it. I guess we'll say it here. Pause. Had it curve a little too far inside that time. But they'll try it back again. Right side, same setup, crossover into the slow work into the middle. Oh, we got a little give and go play here. Yamal pops it right over the goal. Not able to get it to go. But that was a legit play. Hey, yo. Took 100 minutes for them to do something crafty with Yamal. They actually ran like a screenplay that time for him, where the person that gave him the pass kind of undercut his defender instead of screen for him. Maybe save that for later in the game. Is smart, kind of pull out all your stops when you need to. But also, again, they could have probably have done things with Yamal to get him moving to the middle of the field as well too throughout the course of the game, even just from a playmaking opportunity. Maybe having playmaking from different spots of the field instead of just always, having and I get maybe there is, I guess there's not necessarily more of the field, but it's a different angle, seeing the field back, kicking it back into the middle and having, again, obviously, we're still learning the geometry of soccer here, but, a little bit more. I guess that's probably just the basic fan critique here, though. It's just be more creative with your players. It's like, run better plays. So I guess you can just say that, right? And, not necessarily, you don't have to, provide any other sort of description for what is going on there. But, clearly, again, for what we're seeing there is a couple of things in their bag that they can go to mix it up. Or that was just kind of a, improvised sort of situation. But still, oh, Chet! Here we go again. Oh, it's gonna be a real tense situation here for Argentina these last couple of games. It is every opportunity so far for Spain here is now resulting in a shot on goal attempt. It seems like everything is getting near the goal. The goalie this time wasn't even really in a place to try to defend it, but it did go off to the right. Maybe the angle, he kind of had it dialed in and knew it wasn't gonna, be a threat there. But once again, we just get the punt away for Argentina. So, again, they don't care about offense. Just punt it away. Make Spain kick off every time. This literally is just, if you just punt it on first down every time for an NFL offense, you're just like, okay, we don't even want to deal with this. Our quarterback's going to throw an interception. It's just going to result in a pick six. It's going to be worse. But, the Argentina offense can't be bad. It's just, they can't get started. At this point, it's just that easy sort of punt away, and Spain maintains, and they just drive right down the field. And Argentina's defensive pressure not able to create turnovers here as well. So now this time from the left side, we get them kind of doing the same thing that they did with Yamal, Spain, where they have the guy from the wing part attack middle. But it didn't seem like the screen success of it was, as successful as it was for Yamal, opening up the opportunity. Okay, we do have Yamal in a fast break. Do we have a yellow card? I see a flag going up. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean a yellow card. Oh, and we got somebody from the bench is just jumping in to say something. Hey, yo. I don't even think he has a team jersey on. Who's wearing the green jerseys? Is that just like a chain gang? Is he getting upset? Does he have money on the game? He's like, don't mess up my bet. Hey, yo. But we do have a collision with the Spain guy running into the back of the Argentina player there. I guess that could have been just like an assistant coach or something for Argentina that was getting upset. But then we also have Spain, the guy from Spain going over and, almost tackling Yamal as well too. Like trying to tackle him, but Yamal shakes him off and doesn't, shout out, doesn't go down, pause. But I guess is that neutralize? Oh, so they do give the Argentina guy the yellow card. Is that the coach? Do they give the coach the yellow card there? They cut to the coach as they showed the yellow card graphic. So again, I don't know if that is, I don't know the names. Does that mean that he got the yellow card, or is that just the timing of the graphic there? But maybe the coach was doing too much that time. Hey, yo. But here we go. Argentina actually starting off in offensive possession. Oh, man. Easily stolen by Spain right away. The double team easily takes it away. So Argentina able to get it back here, but they're slowly going backwards. The ball pressure from Spain is too much. They need to stop. I don't know what kind of accent I was starting to break into there, but they need to stop ISOing so much as well too. They're trying to attack every Spain defender one-on-one and get past them, and they need to maybe concentrate on the working the passes up the field as well too. Again, no, obviously don't punt it down the field in the long attempts, but maybe don't over ISO every time as well. It's like, the NBA, the good team movement, good teamwork, good ball movement. Spurs 2014, beautiful game. I guess, again, this Spain defense though is pretty intense. So you definitely getting a little bit difficult to get past here at this point. Though they are maintaining something here. It is a struggle, but they are maintaining something. It is chaotic, and I think Spain is going to end up kicking it out of bounds. So hopefully that means Argentina will retain. But the crowd is on their feet. Okay, you can hear the crowd starting to cheer a little bit. The Argentina fans are getting excited. Here we go, chat. It's like we got on offensive possession for more than a minute. Hey, yo. Okay, Argentina guy having to take a drink right before the inbound is showing you where we're at, for the time in the game. Somebody else from Argentina is just laying down. I don't know if he was taking a break or if he's trying to get knocked down as well too. I think he's trying to flop. So the refs like, get up, buddy. There's nothing going on here. He just told them both to settle down. He gave them the settle down hand motion. Hey, yo. Okay, yeah. Oh, nope, that was a push from the Spain guy for sure. Definitely though, again, obviously a little exaggeration from Argentina. A little bit of both from the soccer fans or from the soccer players. What do you expect there? But now they're, really stuck in the corner at this point for Argentina. It does look like Spain will get the inbound this time. So there is a little change of possession there. The headbutt back into the field of play for Spain. Okay, they're moving it back up their side of the field. Can Argentina maintain possession? Okay, we get the flag. The flag is back out. So another yellow card for Argentina, or is it going to be on Spain this time? Chad, hey, yo. We should call this episode Knowing Nothing About the World Cup and Trying to Figure It Out, because this is tough. It is what it is. But again, this is our struggle once every 4 years. So we'll try to get locked back in for the next live stream, something way more familiar. Hey, yo. Just really zinging, chat. We'll really just like watch it. We'll just go back and watch every Tim Duncan game ever or something. Tim Duncan 2014 and really just lock in. And really remember the good times. That'll be our first retrospective episode. It'll have to be like Andrew Luck Colts or something like that to really, show the familiarity, get back on top, because this is tough, chat. This is tough. This is really just sitting us here doing nothing. But, what do you do? What do you do? It's the World Cup, and we're trying our best to be fans. We're trying our best to watch greatness. We're trying to see Messi do something crazy, but it just hasn't happened yet. So, again, it's the gamble, I guess, of the sporting event itself. And I guess, obviously, it's the World Cup. It's great to watch in general. It's great. It's great. Yeah, hey, Mike, it's great to be a part of such, great world sporting event. Hey, yo. But, again, for hopefully, hanging out with the chat. This is kind of understandable where we are, at this point, just kind of slowly working our way through the rest of this game, because, our soccer analysis is going to be at a limit here. But we do have a full timeout, huddle, reset situation, a team motivation I don't know if that goes in the documentary there for Spain if they win, but we get the team huddles here as they reset. Again, we were seeing in our research there, our mini research, that it was 90 minutes, or not 90 minutes, 30 minutes of extra time after the 90, but they stop at 105. So I guess that would be 15, right? So you play 15 and then 15. Okay, so you do get a little bit of a halftime break in overtime. It does I guess become a mini game. I guess again, we can't report that, but that is our thought. Just seeing what is happening here in chat. Hey, yo, I guess to go back to basketball. Okay, something familiar. Chicago, they're making the comeback against Atlanta, 57-61. Hey, yo, Angel Reese 3 for 10. Chat, Angel Reese, shout out. But obviously the field goal attempts are gonna have to go up a little bit there. But knocks in a couple of free throws. 57-62. I assume that they will be fine in terms of closing out the game. Just that margin of victory, maybe a little closer than they were hoping for earlier, but we can't count out Chicago yet as well too. But just looking at the records, them at 9-16, I'm just doing a little math in terms of who might have the fourth quarter advantage there. But, again, Cardosa versus Angel Reese. Hey, yeah, we're going to have to look over there when, the game gets a little bit closer here at the end. Okay, Argentina. Is this number 3 guy keeps going? Hey, yo, chat. Yeah, sub him out. Hey, yo. This guy's like the Dellavedova for Argentina. He's only in there to, foul and be crazy and cause chaos and be annoying. Hey, yo. You hate to say it, but it is what it is. And again, we're probably rooting for Messi here. But that guy is definitely not, upping the entertainment value of the game. That is for sure. So here we go, chat. 105-minute mark for the World Cup final. It is 0-0. A classic soccer game. I guess this just shows you, this is probably not our luck thing. These are two, great teams. So this is probably more typical for a great soccer game in a sense. But, oh, here we go. The goalie moving! Oh, Chad! Oh, Andrew Garfield scores! Spain with the 1-0 lead at 105. Is that the game? Is extra time sudden death? Do we play the rest of it? Hey, yo! Did Spain just win the World Cup? I mean, they could have just, de facto won the World Cup. But is that it? Is it over? Did they win the World Cup? Oh, Chad, is it done for Messi? Or is this Messi lock-in time? The clock is still going. So, I don't know. Does that mean the game is still going? The Spain coach still has that look of like, okay, we need... Is it just like Jay Wright after winning the title? It's like, okay, not that excited, but... Or is it there's still game time left here that they need to work out? But, hey, yo, Chet, there was only so much the goalie could do there for Argentina. He's been trying the whole game. Every offensive possession for Spain has been getting closer this time, and they have been, like we saying, kind of, I don't know, perfecting is the right word, but they have been, going back to the offense of get that to the right side, and then those little, the little offensive passes between kind of the left side of the offense there have been a little bit, tricky for the goalie to navigate. And this time, there is just too much. And they do end up getting it back into the middle of the field there a little bit more as well too. So I mean, Chad, again, when you have basically zero offense the entire game and you're just holding out hope for the penalty kicks, or the kicks at the end of the game, that is a tough game plan to try to navigate, because the NFL again doesn't really have that, like there's no other sports combo for that as well too, where it's like, can we just play out the entire regulation and get to free throws at the end of the game? Where again, I can't say that they threw away the first 90 minutes with how they were playing, and just Spain, you have to give them credit for how good they were. But there was just obviously just a lack of pressure for anything that Argentina was able to apply there for the course of the game. So we can't count them out yet. I guess they still do get to play to the 120-minute mark here or whatever. Yeah, the 120-minute mark for, the full time of overtime. But, and, like we're saying, this is where Argentina has been so great as of late. But, with the offensive time of possession here, I think Spain, the 1-0 lead, is going to be great. And they get to be so much more conservative now as well too. They've been so great in the control. But I guess now Argentina with some pressure, it's going to look a little different as well. But Desperos 20-0 for Spain. I guess I didn't see what the other stat was there for that they were showing on the graphic, but it was 12-0, whatever the word was there. But now they get, they don't even have to be aggressive and attack the goal. So unless Argentina really is going to apply pressure here and get a turnover, or just a bad pass by Spain, like boom, okay, here we go, bad pass. Is that Messi? Was Messi just trying to kick a goal from 60 yards there? Hey, yo, there is definitely some intention behind that kick, and then Spain kicking it out of bounds once again. So the celebration, I guess they can't get cocky in the celebration, hey yo, as well too, and let up too much, because again, a tie, only one goal to tie. I guess Messi, here we go, Messi isoing, Messi trying to work his way into the middle of the field this time, I don't know if they put Messi in the middle of the field throughout the game. Maybe that is a little bit of a different adjustment and just let him, just navigate there as well too. Where, again, Spain with Yamal, I'm sure Yamal has more options. But, with Messi, I don't know, maybe the right side is the best place to have him. But maybe just as a game plan situation, if they had adjusted and there was, different places on the field to have Messi attacking from, maybe they could have done something there as well. Hey, yo, chat, hydration break real quick. Voice break, but no, the World Cup final, obviously. I guess it's a small price to pay to see greatness, but Yamal's journey, obviously this Spain team, there's a lot of great legacies here in the soccer sense, but again, obviously Messi is from the sporting world sense, just a legendary guy, and a lot of people I think were obviously, hoping to see, or just wanting to see what that extra legacy bump would look like if he did achieve back-to-back World Cup status. And I guess we could see how often has that happened, a country winning back-to-back World Cups, or a player specifically for a country as well too. Maybe countries have done it more often, I don't know, but just for him to take that Argentina team, I'm sure, to two finals itself is pretty crazy. And then for them to even get the win that they did, because did they get the win against France last year in the final as well too? So I think that would have been one that you weren't necessarily expecting again game to game, that they would have won that game. But still, obviously they were able to have the incredible run in 2022. And this is legendary. Again, Messi definitely still moved himself into a different tier of guy, even if he was already at the top of the sports mountain in some ways before this World Cup. Like, it definitely, just continued to solidify his GOAT status as well. And, helps add to the World Cup goal record total. Like, there is some real stuff there that, Messi was awesome this World Cup. But definitely a dominant performance by Spain here in this game. And I guess they probably will still get some extra minutes at the end of this. But, Spain not letting up their offensive game, it looks like. And, have still really easily maintained possession here for the last couple of minutes. Argentina, even, on that corner possession they just had here, kind of kicked it into the corner. Looked like Argentina put a little pressure on them, and they're just still not able to get a turnover here. If anything, Spain's still unintentionally getting closer to the goal as well, too. And they're not even actively trying to, it look like anymore. It doesn't look like anymore they're trying to, actively pursue points in the same way that they were. So here we go. We got the Argentina goalie setting up again. He's definitely just going to punt it 100 yards down the field and get it to nobody. Like, there's an Argentina guy standing right there. Just kick it over to him, jumpstart the possession, get everything going. Nope, kick it right down to the middle of the field. Let him headbutt it. Okay, we get the double, a triple headbutt. Okay, there we go. That was, that's something anyways. But it turns right back into a one-on-one opportunity and then points for Spain. So there we go. I mean, now it's 2-0. Now it's essentially game over. Maybe we got a penalty for Spain that time as they're in offsides. But once again, I don't know how to feel about this goalie, Chad. I don't know. He's not in Luke Cornet territory. Again, he's had so many great saves tonight that you do have to give him credit for the most part for keeping Argentina in this game when he was the only thing, he's the only person for Argentina producing anything by the fact that he has to save, the goal every time. But like we're saying, there were definitely some refining things that could have been done to those things that could have helped as well too, where, maybe the controlling of the possessions, like we're saying, just punting it down the field every time. I don't know if these are the, the best ways to handle some of these offensive possessions for Argentina. Maybe these are game plan coaching things. These are just strategy things that they have implemented already that they know that they're going to do. But, again, like we just saw it turn into, disaster points right there for Argentina. I mean, there is a couple of goals here as well, too, that Spain has left on the table due to penalty. So it's not necessarily like, I feel like points in soccer get taken away more than in the NFL, where it's like, oh, this should have been 21-0 or something like that. It kind of could be 3-0 here for Spain. And obviously, if it's 3-0, there is just that dominance on the scoreboard that is implied right away. And you definitely see, through that, the control of the game that Spain would have. Like, I don't know if the control here. Oh! Oh! Oh, Argentina, chat, with 10 seconds left, almost had a miracle buzzer beater. That was about the best situation they would have had. And again, that's where Spain, it was the increments of the offense throughout the course of the game. I'm not saying Argentina was trying to do too much or go for the Hail Mary throughout the course of the game. But that time where Spain was having good offense out of their corner kicks, we saw Argentina actually have good offense out of their corner kicks that time. And you get the kick back to Messi from the corner kick, and then he almost got the goal, or you get it into a headbutt type of situation as well too. But if you're just able to even work the offense to that spot where you can even get those corner kicks, is something obviously that they just weren't even able to do throughout the course of this game here. So one last miracle attempt, one last one-on-one attempt for Spain, and the Spain guy just kicks it out of bounds. Hey, yo. So that definitely would have ended it right there, but unfortunately, I think he kicked it with the wrong foot. I don't know what, that unfortunately a tough move there. He was integral in their offense here in the second half, but unfortunately that play didn't quite go his way there. So I guess the game isn't ended yet. There is some time for Argentina. We do have the game clock still running. The long pass attempt down the field is not going to do anything. Argentina's just going to kick it out of bounds. I don't know why that shot attempt would be the one. But chaos in the middle of the field. Somebody came striking in there and definitely got a good look. Was that Messi? Chat, Messi. Maybe he just needed to be more aggressive in this game. I don't know. But chat, Scott Sterling took the soccer ball right to the face. That is a legit, the guy might be down for a second. Pause. That one you do have to let him recover for a second, because Messi full force kicked that soccer ball and it went right off his forehead. So there, maybe we might actually have to drag that guy off and just let him recover there on the sideline for a second. But at least he won't remember any of the World Cup celebration now that he's been concussed. Unfortunately for him, he made it so far, Chad. He made it to a minute 117. And then got concussed by Messi by a soccer ball. And then, unfortunately, he's going to be like, I don't remember anything about the greatest moment of my life, because Messi concussed me in that moment. But I guess, does this go back to they're reviewing an offside penalty from earlier that could have made it? That was back to the one that could have made it 2-0 that we just saw. So I don't know if Messi, there's probably not going to be any, penalty kick situation for Spain here off of that. But it probably won't be Argentina's. Is that a penalty, or is that just like a kickball violation? Like, how does that work? Because, like, if you throw it off a guy's face in the NBA and it goes out of bounds, like, it's off the guy's face. Hey, yo. Like, it's not like face off out of bounds pause. It's like not possession for the other team. But, I guess, will it be... Does that mean it goes to Argentina because the guy had to stop play with injury there? We'll see who, I guess, gets the inbound after they get everything set up. It does look like, okay, we have two people, but it does look like it may be Argentina, which we guess wrong. So usually that means that it'll be Spain. But the Argentina guy is back to this. Okay, yeah, it is Argentina. I guess the ref just kind of drops it into play there, and they keep going. So this time, okay, Messi again in the middle of the field. Like we said, took minute 111 for them to finally do that. But Spain kicks it out of bounds right away. They're not even able to get it past the 40-yard mark at this point. Almost generating another one-on-one opportunity here for Yamal. Hey, yo, versus the goalie. But this is slow. Maybe this is why they don't play offense. They play offense, it just turns into worse defense for them. This is like, okay, we literally just have to sit back and only play this very conservative defense throughout the course of the entire game, or we're just going to fall apart once we start to get aggressive on offense. And the formation stuff lose. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the formations collapse. I don't know what the game plan is here. Again, I'm shout out. They're a World Cup team, so we can't sit here and say that, like, Argentina, what's going on? But clearly, Spain is a little too overwhelming here. And, there is a lot of name value on, France and England and some of these other teams. But, obviously, I think Spain showing that they are just the best team here for the tournament at this point. Okay, Messi with the head start. Messi, can he ISO? Can they get a shot in? Oh, chat! They had another opportunity. They had another opportunity. That was a good play. That was a good play by Argentina. So, again, it could be late in the game situation. Spain getting a little tired. But, oh, man, they had it perfect. The Argentina guy just passed the goal on the right side, kicking it back in. And it looked like the Argentina guy had that perfectly lined up there to just tap that right in. Pause. And unfortunately, it just went off to the right there at that time. So, again, Argentina, this is, in overtime here, this is their best sequence of offense by far in the game. The headbutt into the middle of the, chat! It got lost. It's turning into a hockey game right now with the puck getting lost, the clutter around the goal. Hey, yo. So Messi, once again, corner kick. Can this be the thing that saves them, chat? Can it be the corner kick? Okay, they just called the play dead. They kind of gave away the play. They changed it up that time because Messi had been kicking it into the group and they've been, trying to get it that way. This time he kicked it short and they were going to run a give and go back to Messi. But unfortunately, they shut that play down. So I don't know if they can run that again or not and telegraph what they have happen here. No, they will kick it back into the middle. They will get a shot on goal attempt. Oh, did it get blocked, chat? Oh, no. They've had it, chat. They've had it right here. This was a perfect opportunity for them to have that miracle moment at the end of the game. I don't know if Messi, again, do you change it up? Maybe Messi goes from inbounding to inbounder at some point. Maybe you run like the reverse give and go. Like you have Messi receive the inbound back to the inbounder, but then Messi gets it again. Pause. And then he gets the goal opportunity at that point. So, and again, I get the Messi accuracy. I'm sure delivering the kicks in the passes, I'm sure he's going to be as accurate in the placement there as anybody can be. But, again, maybe with that many opportunities, you want to mix it up a little bit and see what is going on. But, I mean, that just shows you, like, if they had been a little more smart maybe with maintaining some of their possessions throughout the game, would they have had more opportunities like that? But like we're saying, they just were constantly giving it back to Spain time and time again. So they do have about 2 minutes here, chat, to change the course of the game. And it does look like they will continue to have possession here. Again, like we're saying, at least moving Messi into the middle of the field has allowed him to have some of the offense for a more sustained amount of time in some sense. But now they are going to have to, work back to getting it into the corners again this time. And I think maybe they turned it over. Did they step out of bounds? Oh, no, they just blew it dead again. Pause. So, hey, pause. But they just called the play dead. I guess is the better way to phrase it. Oh, chat, look at that. Right through 2 Spain defenders, just a little too high on the replay there. For, I guess, I don't know who they were showing for Argentina. But whoever that was, shout out. Almost, almost a miraculous goal for the entire country and your entire legacy. But, it was close. So you really got to give him credit there for almost getting that. But was that Alcaraz? Hey, Celebrity Watch number 9, Carlos Alcaraz, shout out. But, less than 2 minutes here for Spain. I don't think it's going to happen, chat. I don't think we're going to get a miracle. Oh, no. I think Messi maybe is just going to just be short. Pause. It is what it is. Is Spain the miracle sort of vibes that we've had? Because 2026, I guess some of the recent champions, there have been that vibe of like, oh, anything is possible. Sam Darnold won the championship. Indiana football won the championship. Michigan basketball won their first championship since 1998. Like there have been some. New York, obviously, we're trying to blank that one out. But, New York obviously just won their first NBA title in 50 years. Like you have had these teams, reclaim titles. So maybe Messi winning it last year is too bad. Like it's too soon for the 2026 vibes. But since they are the underdogs, I don't know if it would sort of fit for that as well, too. But maybe Spain is just, maybe it's been, pause. It's been years since for them as well too. But now they have possession, chat. Oh, it does seem like they're going to be able to run out the clock. I don't know if Argentina is They are still being aggressive, so they're not going to give up yet. Again, 1-0. Anything can happen, even down to the last second. But it is. Are they trying to draw a foul here? I think they're trying to draw a foul. Maybe it did. Did it work? I don't know. They're running off the field. Does that mean it's over? Is the game done? Oh, are they champions? I don't know. The goalie's setting up at midfield right now for Argentina, so that can't be good for Spain. I guess the clock is running down. 10, 9, 8. Again, it's a soccer game. We never know when this is going to end. But it does seem like it's getting close. Is the goalie going to make the goal? One last attempt for Argentina. Kicks it into the middle of the field. Spain kicks it back out. Spain charges the field. I think it's over. I think it's over. That's our soccer analysis chat. There we go. Oh, shout out to Messi. We were really hoping he would get it done, but Yamal's next up. Yamal is next up. Spain is dominant. You know, they obviously the Argentina goalie, the Argentina defense really did play well there for, you know, the goalie specifically really did play well there for, you know, most of regulation. And, you know, obviously getting into the, you know, later minutes there is going to be tough in general. But, hey, yo, chat. You know, we made it through the World Cup rewatch there. That was a tough one. I am not going to lie. Obviously an iconic game, the peak sporting event for the world, but when you know nothing about it, I tell you what, it does become a little bit more difficult to try to watch along, especially when you know nothing, when you're watching a different broadcast. But hey yo, we made it. We made it. Shout out. It's gonna be tough. The summer of the Telemundo broadcast, 2026. We gotta watch this World Cup on the Telemundo. It was a lot of fun to keep the tournament on. Obviously, having a great summer sporting event in the background to get us through the summer sports drought is awesome as well, too. And, again, so many legacies. Messi having a great tournament. Lamine Yamal. Ayo, I always get the name mixed up there. Lamine Yamal, entering now, the new Legends Circle for the soccer world, because like Sam was saying even a couple years ago, he was one of those guys that was next up for the soccer world there. So hey, if Yamal can win a title, maybe that means Wemby can win a title at some point. I guess maybe it would be Mbappe there because of the France crossover, but I'm thinking more of the next superstar up situation. Oh, Chad, and look at this. Speaking of, speaking of the miracle comeback, I guess it's Chicago versus Atlanta in the WNBA. Hey, yo, we have to pivot right back to basketball because that's what we're familiar with. But, hey, yo, Chicago is up 75-74. So 5 minutes left in that one. We'll, I guess, keep a little bit of an eye on there. But, hey, yo, Chad, we'll be back to wrap up the rest of the live stream right after this. Shout out to Spain, the World Cup champions 2026. Okay, chat, we are back, and IT hit us with a quick update here. We do have a new video to add to the file of shirtless Justin Bieber at Fanatics Fest. This time it is of him taking three-pointers. So we do have, I guess, another sport. We don't have any videos of Brady taking three-pointers here. Can we find the video of Bieber training with Lethal Shooter as of recently? As of recently as well, too. I don't know. I think maybe their what do you say? Their history goes way back, but there was, yeah, 5 days ago. Here we go. Oh, chat, we are locked in. The journalism is top notch here at the Urban Sand Pod. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Bieber with the step back, the low arc and jumper as well too. I do love that the basketball hoop is like a non-mounted basketball hoop. Like, I don't know if this is in Bieber's house or what this is, but it's just like he's like, we have to set up this facility right now. This is like him like training for some show, the backstage of some show. But they brought in a basketball hoop. I mean, he's balling out here for sure. We got a bank. I think we had a bank shot there a second ago. Is this Magic City in the comments section as well too? So is Luke Cornett gonna pull up and be like, Magic City shouldn't be commenting on any post? But we have him here with the step in jumper. Of course, I don't know. We got, it seems like a nice 1-2 pull up there into the jumper. The travel isn't too crazy. There is a couple where he does have like kind of that lingering back step a little bit, but I think that's just classic, jump shooter stuff that you do every now and then. So if you get away with it in the park, you definitely can. But, good step back there as well too. I mean, Bieber can get buckets as well. He's definitely, I don't think he's first team all celebrity bucket getter in the world right now, but I could be a third teamer for sure. Keep working there, Biebs. You can get there. But because we need to see the passing. Like, the scoring is good. Not to say that he couldn't be a Brunson type, but he definitely could be. He definitely would need to, up the playmaking in there as well too. I don't know if Bieber would be, a go-to bucket getter in a game, but this is, good catch and shoot scenario, so he can play off the ball. Maybe like Jamal Murray. Maybe like a celebrity Jamal Murray, like kind of on the border of being an all-star, but if he plays with Jokic, if it's like Justin Bieber and Arnie Duncan, hey, if you guys don't know about Arnie Duncan, I don't even remember exactly what branch of the military he was in, or military. Oh no, not military, government is what I meant to say. Former educator and former secretary of education. Arnie Duncan celebrity game. We keep the Arnie Duncan legacy alive here on the Urban Sand Pod, but he notably won the MVP after recording a celebrity game record 20 points. He had a 20, 11, and 6. And he was like throwing behind the back passes and stuff. He really is the celebrity game Jokic. So if it was like Bieber and Arnie Duncan on the same team, like maybe Bieber could be like a, Jamal Murray type. But I guess, just a little off-season research that we have been doing there for the pod. And there is one other piece of news that we did want to address as well too. So I'm just, keep an eye on what's going on here for the rival teams. We do have, pause, but we do have rumors of Cooper Flagg growing this offseason. So he did enter the NBA at 6'9". Apparently, Masai Ujiri now saying that he is 6'11". Again, this could be an AI website. Who's to say? But according to this Instagram post right here, very specifically, it does say that Cooper Flagg is now 6'11". So this was actually one of the reasons that we had Dembasta over Peterson in our draft board, was like sometimes these forwards, like sometimes they, pause, but sometimes they grow in the NBA. So not to say that, if Peterson grows to like an actual 6'6", 6'8", or something like that, that's not terrifying. But it's like if Dembasta gets to 7 feet tall with his skill set, like that's just going to be insane. And he obviously, carries himself very, very well as well too. He's not like a skinny guy. Neither is Cooper Flagg really, but he's not like Cooper Flagg's not like a bulky guy per se. But that is something to look at as well too. And obviously Cooper Flagg's abilities themselves would be terrifying, but now Cooper Flagg, even with a little bit more of an advantage, is definitely a little bit scary there. That is for sure. So again, I don't know where he ranks on our our fear rankings for the upcoming season, for just the future of the NBA, who are our most feared players going up against, but he is secretly like a guy lingering. Like, I would still say that, and obviously I'm just talking about a basketball talent standpoint here, I would say like I'm more, the idea of competing against Anthony Edwards in a basketball game is obviously more, what's the right word for it? Yeah, what do you say? I would feel worse about the Spurs' chances than against Cooper Flag. But Cooper Flag is right up near the top of the list now as well too. Like, is Cooper Flag, with rumors of being 6'11", more scary than Tatum now? Again, it's not even, we haven't even seen this version of Cooper Flag, but it's just now him with rumors. Has he passed Tatum? Has he passed Jaylen Brown at this point? Just 6'11" Cooper Flag? I don't know. And he may have already, there might have been some trade value stuff that would have had him up near those guys anyways. But just for, like, right now in the league, like, year 2 Cooper Flag hot take, he might be really good. Hey, 26-4 his rookie year is not a bad start. I tell you what. And, again, they're going to be, healthier this year. Masai, hopefully long term, I guess from a Mavs fan perspective, hopefully is able to, get them reorganized. Their roster is still not the most terrifying. So that's the part from the I almost said the Messi standpoint, from the Cooper Flag standpoint, that I would be a little hesitant about, just for, again, am I scared of the Mavs as a whole? But, Cooper Flag obviously even now could put up 40. Did the Mavs get Recherche? Oh, chat, what is this? Breaking news. When did this happen? Oh no, poor Recherche. He's the former #1 pick. His when he gets traded, it's not even newsworthy? Hey, yo. Wait a second. There is currently a trade agreement for Recherche to be traded to the Mavs. Imagine this is going to be from like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Zachary Recherche. Let's see. Hopefully this is new. 6 hours ago. Oh, chat, look at this. We are not out of the loop. Hey, yo, okay. A 3-team deal. Look at this. NBA news. We're back, chat. We're so excited. We just struggled through a World Cup game. Not struggled to watch it, but, we just struggled to talk through a World Cup game. And now we get some NBA news. How exciting. Oh, this is great. Lou Dort to Atlanta, huh? Reacher. So wait, who does OKC get? This is always terrifying. Did they just get more picks as well? Is there an ESPN article? Here we go. Okay. We have to see what Shams is saying. Hey, yo. Obviously, if it's not, if it's, back in the day, Woj, phone would have been sending us the notification right away. But wait, oh, I see Nemhard's name in the trade. Let's see if we can actually get the deal figured out here. Okay. The Thunder are trading all defensive wing Lou Dort to the Hawks in a three-team deal that sent 3 second-round picks to OKC and 2020 #1 pick Recherche to the Mavs and Ryan Nemhard to Atlanta. Hey, yo. I mean, I'm not saying Recherche is going to be like second-team All-NBA at some point in his career, but wait, what did Dallas give up for a #1? They gave up Ryan Nemhard and 3 second-round picks for Zachary Recherche? Hey, yo. I mean, maybe we have to go back and we might have to pull up some highlights right now. Like, Recherche just got drafted a couple years ago. Like, I'm a little confused. Like, again, like, I'm, hasn't necessarily been lighting up the league since, he's been there, respectfully. Hopefully he's not listening to this. But still, the 3-point percentage, I guess it didn't increase dramatically. So that's, obviously a little bit of a something there for Atlanta. But, again, it's also Atlanta's fault that they took him #1 overall. Like, you can't, I guess, again, with respect to Recherche, but you can't look at the guy's talent and be like, oh, I guess you can in some ways, of course, for the value that you drafted him at. Oh, Chad, 30 seconds left in this game, and Atlanta's reclaimed the lead against Chicago Sky. 33 seconds, 89-88. So, we'll hopefully not lose sight of that game there. But what are we saying? For Recherche, you can't look at him compared to Castle and be like, oh, look at what Castle's doing. Because we did kind of know what Recherche was going to be. And even if he doesn't get to that All-NBA level, like, the thought was, I mean, again, I guess Atlanta has had, more changes than just the players that they've traded. Like, there have been some personnel things and stuff over the last couple of years as well, too. But, for bringing in Recherche, the thought was, like, he can work next to Trae Young and be like that defensive wing around him as well, too, with Jalen Johnson, and can also play with Jalen Johnson, like, if they trade Trae Young. So, not to say, again, like, they're giving up on the future because they've traded Recherche, but, just because he hasn't, developed into the second best player on the team, a 20-point-a-game guy, like, just because Nickeil Alexander-Walker is good doesn't mean you have to trade Recherche for, multiple second-round picks. Like, you can't get some type of, and I guess maybe the reason that they traded so many firsts is because they did mess with, or so many seconds recently, is because they did mess with the rules in protecting first. So maybe the value is getting reset there a little bit, if I remember correctly. But, either way, that seems like a little bit of an early sell. Now, I guess the counter would be, is Dort going to Atlanta? So, like, would Richerche ever be as good as Lou Dort? And not to be disrespectful, again, to either guy, to imply that being as good as Lou Dort is not good enough, or, again, to imply that Richerche is not, living up to whatever. Because I guess you look at the numbers on paper, they're pretty close. Dort this past year, 8 points a game, 38% from the field, 34% from three. So, obviously, when they won the title, he was as important to that team as anybody. First team all defense 2 years ago, and was 41% from three in the regular season, 39% from three before that. But maybe Presti's looking at the rest of the career going, okay, 29%, 34%, 33%, 33%, 34%. Maybe he's looking at those little bit of a 2 years as an outlier. And of course, there are just going to be those contract things that OKC is going to have to run into at some point. They can't keep everybody around. But I don't know if I would have wanted something else back for Richerche as well, too. They can't get picks back for Richerche, and they can't also, get a player back as well, too. I know the Thunder don't have Ousmane Dieng anymore, but, like, they can't just get, like, there's not, like, a Ousmane Dieng type on the Thunder here for them to get. I think Atlanta could have got a little bit more there. I'm not going to lie. And I guess they are looking at the East going, Jalen Johnson in the East right now can win the East. And Jalen Johnson's really good. But is Jalen Johnson going to win the Eastern Conference next year? And Nembhard's really good as well, too. But yeah, you got Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, McCollum Okongwu. Who did they draft this year? Kingston Flemings is who they drafted. Zuby Ejiofor as well, too. That was a little bit of an interesting pick when it happened, but we're pro Ejiofor here. So, we don't mind if maybe he went a little over where people were thinking. But he will be an unrestricted free agent next year as well, too. Wait, where's Richerche at? So you just even get that rookie contract flexibility with Richerche that is, kind of beneficial as well, too. So you have him at $13 million and then a team option for $17 million next year. So even just to have, a guy at Lou Dort's production under contract for another year just seems like a good deal. And again, Richerche is literally 21 right now. Like, yes, will Richerche ever average, 30 points a game in the NBA? But could he be a really, really productive role player? I mean, come on. It seems like a little bit of an early sell. But maybe I'm overreacting a little bit, thinking back to the draft value, and maybe that's where Atlanta's just like, we don't care about that. We're just thinking about, these specific things for the roster. But what does this say here? Specifically, Lou Dort traded to Atlanta as part of a three-team. Atlanta trades Richerche to Dallas. Atlanta also trades a 2022 second and a 2023 second to OKC, and Dallas traded Nembhard to Atlanta. So is the second round picks basically, it's like they trade Dort for Richerche and then the second round picks for Nembhard is kind of the logic of the trade there. But still, I kind of think Dort and Nembhard for Richerche is enough. I don't know why they're giving up picks in that sense as well, too. Maybe just to get the third team involved. But still, that's an early sell low on Richerche. Hey, that's tough. That is tough. I tell you what. Him and again, I guess that goes to what we were saying, Masai. That is a good way to build the team. Like, are they bringing in the second star next to Cooper Flag? Is Richerche, now they have four. Like, I guess, where's the Bleacher Report graphic of, like, let me see, do they have it here? Hey, like, where is the Bleacher Report graphic of, like, now Dallas has 2 number 1 overall picks, Zach Richerche and Cooper Flag? Let me see here. Of course, there's going to be a lot of Spain just won the World Cup material, as you would expect. And again, the fact that Lou Dort is the centerpiece of the trade, like, I get he's had the longer career and been the all-defensive guy, but I don't know if he is, respectfully, like, a more impactful player going forward. Then, chat, what is this? Drake bet on Argentina? That's why they lost. That makes so much more sense now. But, so hopefully Drake bets on Dallas to win the title, because then at least, they won't win the title that way. Got him. But, and that's right, they got Eldama this offseason as well, too. Like, that's going to work for him. That is going to work. And the point I was going to make is that's the perfect swing to make. It's a low-cost swing. They didn't really give anything up. Shout out to Nembhard. Like, Ryan Nembhard is a very, very, very good backup point guard. But you do get to take a swing on a guy who was a former number one overall pick, who, again, like we're saying, maybe doesn't have all NBA upside. Oh, the Atlanta Dream one. But he does have that final five, can be a really productive, good value player in the league upside. And again, Aldama is like that as well, too. And if anything, they just have depth and options now as well. Again, even if Ricochet's not the second best guy going forward, if he's the fifth best guy on the team right now, with what they gave up for him, to have that wing in there and have, just that added depth is still pretty good and probably fits the mold of the team around what they want to build around Cooper Flag. And again, shout out to Nembhard, but Masai does like the wing-heavy teams. We saw him build that in Toronto. He had OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam and Kawhi Leonard and, Norm Powell. And obviously, Kyle Lowry was there as well, too, as a guard. But, again, that was obviously a very, very three stretch four forward focused type of a team. And you could see him kind of rebuilding that here as well, too, in Dallas. But then, obviously if they get Kyrie back, that is just going to be a, an offensive injection as well, too, that they could really use. But if you have, Cooper Flag and Santi Aldama and, and Derek Lively, Cooper Flag, Derek Lively, Ricochet, Santi Aldama, Kyrie Irving, like that's a four there. That's a five you can play. PJ Washington, Klay Thompson, Daniel Gafford. Again, this is one of these that looks really good on the Bleacher Report when you line up the 10 guys and you're like, who is stopping this Mavs team? Now that they have Ricochet. I guess Bleacher Report hoops. Let me see. We have to find it. I don't know. What's this? Chris Paul in Toronto? Is this old? Chris Paul has been sent to the Raptors as part of a 3-team deal that is sending Abaji to the Raptors and cash to the Nets. Hey, CP3 is not required to port to Toronto and still could be traded at the deadline. I don't even remember that going down. Apparently that was from February 4th this past year. But let's see. BR Hoops. Let's see if we can find this. Who can stop the Dallas Mavs lineup? And see what we get here. But I guess this works, again, like we're saying, Cooper Flag has grown, pause, and now, also, I'm seeing some Michigan basketball news here as well, too, that's getting me distracted. But looking for that lineup. I don't think we're going to get it. Actually, this is because this is BR College Hoops. I guess BR NBA. I don't know. We have to go through and see what we can find. But I want to see the graphic of them lined up with the 10 players. Who is stopping this guy? But even Marcus Sasser is like a good backup point guard as well, too. Like, he can take over the minutes that Nembhard, if trading Nembhard, Sasser can take some of those minutes. And I guess, Sasser at $5 million versus $2 million for Nembhard. But, what are we doing here? Obviously, again, Ricochet is a good contributing player. And I guess sometimes. And, Najee Marshall's still there as well, too. Like, either he can be a depth guy for the lineup, or you can start, flipping some of these guys to the deadline as well, too. Maybe somebody will take Najee Marshall, somebody will take Max Christie as well. But you also have, again, younger guys to reset with Cooper Flag. So I guess your under 25 lineup would be, I guess Santi Aldama's 26. So he could still be around for this team, for them building the core out, per se. But, your under 25 lineup would be Derek Lively, Cooper Flag, Zach Ricochet, Max Christie, and then they would need one. So maybe I guess you would still need kind of a true point guard in that situation. I was gonna say, do we bring Merez Johnson and go Merez, Lively, Christie, Ricochet, and Cooper Flag? And maybe Cooper Flag runs like a pseudo point guard situation there. But I still think long term you would want like a real point guard. Maybe that's where Sergio Diarra kind of works into the mix there as well, too. But that's just a little interesting offseason nugget there, I guess, to end the pod on, Chad. Hey, good thing we stumbled on that news there, before we logged off. Breaking important news. But Zach Ricochet, former number one overall pick, so that is something for sure for him to be traded, at that value at this point in his career at 22 years old. And the fact that Presti didn't get him in the trade as well, that's a move for Presti to get him. But you see, again, Masai, obviously a guy that, gets a lot of credit for what he does in the NBA there, for the moves that he makes. So it makes sense that, he makes a good value play here with Ricochet. Again, I could definitely, get behind the logic of the trade that they made here as well. But I guess as they're doing their trophy celebration, shout out to Spain, I guess. And we were talking about the sort of, the teams making the, positive comeback and getting the title for the first time in a while. They did say it was the first time since 2010, since Spain won the World Cup. So I guess it has been a little bit of a minute. Oh, what is this, chat? Hey, okay, now we can turn the World Cup off for the trophy presentation. We're here for the game, not the bogus trophy presentation for stuff. You know, we don't need to worry about that. But you know, either way, shout out to Spain, shout out to Argentina and Messi for the legendary run, and shout out to Angel Reese for her win tonight as well too against the Atlanta Dream. Against the Chicago Sky, you know, or just, you know, also just shout out to Angel Reese in general. But, you know, we'll see. Angel Reese joining us live for the Tuesday live stream. We'll see there. Maybe Odyssey reactions Tuesday live stream. We'll have to see. But we'll be back Tuesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Friday is the schedule here on the live stream. So you can join us, and, you know, hopefully we'll be talking about things that we're more familiar with in the future instead of just, you know, soccer and something that we don't know about. But hey, World Cup final, you know, we had to be here for it. So, you know, or we get to be here for it. We get to watch it. Not that, you know, we had to be. But just from that sporting must-watch sense, you know, we had to watch it is what we meant. And, you know, obviously, you know, again, shout out to Messi. Shout out to everybody involved. Shout out to Team USA earlier for, you know, a fun run. It was a good tournament. It was a good tournament. We you know, hey, Mike, nothing's better than the World Cup. So, you know, we'll be back 4 years. Hopefully we have 4 years now to get the soccer knowledge locked in. And then the next time we're here 4 years from now for the next World Cup final, you know, we can, I guess, be better prepared. Or, you know, maybe going forward we'll be more tuned in to other soccer events as well too. I guess, you know, we'll just have to see how that plays out. But I guess in the future, you know, now it's back to baseball here on the REMINGTOM pod, or to baseball for the first time, because we've never gone to baseball in a sense. But, you know, we'll just have to see. So join us Tuesday. It'll be either baseball or the Odyssey. We'll just have to see that. We'll see y'all later. Peace.